This is an after-action report for FlashPoint Campaign's Red Storm. My opponent is BroJD, and he's had such a good time making videos, he's asked me to make another one with this new scenario. We're going to be trying the downloadable content from FlashPoint Campaigns called Germany Reforged. This is with the version 2.10 game engine. We played all of our previous scenarios with 2.08 simply because they had the least number of problems, and 2.10 has just a whack of them. So we'll get started. Today we're playing the Spartans at Norderfurt scenario. I have been assigned the NATO forces, and my opponent wishes to try the Soviet forces. The only way to know about these bugs is to talk about them, and I'm going to make absolutely certain everyone should see that we're starting this scenario with the fire support control center turned off. This is important because we'll see during the game that this is totally ignored by the AI in version 2.10. This is another reason why my opponent and I played all of our previous games in 2.08. This problem did not exist in version 2.08. There are so few scenarios to play in FlashPoint campaigns that we have to cherish each and every new scenario, because once you play them, it's kind of spoiled for the future. There's only so many ways to do them. The map doesn't change, the reinforcements do not change, the units starting locations do not change. So there's only so many ways you can play a scenario. So oftentimes we play the scenario and we have to pretend that we don't know what's happening from the other side. And this is a real treat for us. We play something that we have never played before. This is the first time I've looked at the scenario, so everything will be fresh and a total surprise. And I can only make decisions according to the tactical map and my orders. Here is the scenario background and my mission briefing. We'll take a look at the staff summary to know what there are approximately 9,000. There are 9,000 victory points on the board, and we need about 2/3 of them to just break even. I always in my planning, I generally plan for the contested battle. I try to break even, and then everything I might get above that is gravy. So I'm playing for the tie. And if we can get the win, that's fine. We'll take a look at this as a new map. And we'll see all this. These are the new maps. We see the high area, high ground here, high ground here, high ground in the middle. And my units start in the southeast. But we do start with control of all the victory point locations. Examine my units, and we have a mixed company, I guess you could call them, infantry and a tank platoon backing them up. So this is a typical mechanized infantry company. Two of them, they're starting here, and another one. Now this is more important. These are locked into place. I can't change the location. I can give them an order, but I cannot reposition them to another area over here. They must start in this location. So I have another mechanized infantry company here. Some mortar, a tiny mortar support, and some reconnaissance platoon, I guess you might call it, and these are quite powerful. I have an anti-tank section here of M901A self-propelled anti-tank vehicles. So they've got a range of about 3,700 meters from their anti-tank guided missiles. So they can cover, from a good vantage point, they can cover some pretty decent ground. In addition, I've got one final mechanized infantry company. So these are locked in place and must start from here. I'm examining the terrain and I'm thinking, because this is a head-to-head scenario, it's unlike I'm hoping that the enemy starts probably either here or up here or even over here, but probably I'm thinking somewhere in the north as to make their approach. Now, if this was a solitaire scenario, the enemy, the designers tend to, well, not tend to, but they often put them within firing range of each other, so there's no chance for the defender to do anything, pretty much. He just sits there and you just fight it out. So if this is a meeting engagement and he's coming down towards me, I'm assuming he'll probably start on the other side of the river, somewhere up here at a modest distance, and try to march his way in. That's my guess, but I'm going to still play it conservatively. So we're defending these areas, and we'll turn off the units. Looks like we've got some rivers a river we can defend behind. But up here we've got a few minefields, but judging from where the position of the minefields, I suspect he's coming from the north. But there's going to be a good, not a real choke point here, but this is a low point in the valley on the road. So this, and it's flanked by a river. So unless he's already starting on the south side of the river, most of his units are going to be coming through this road or up through here. And this can be seen from quite a distance. Now, take a look at the victory point locations. I've got, oh, and one more thing, I've got one unit or company of self-propelled artillery. Unfortunately, this is off-map artillery, and we'll get to that later on. Another poor, it's not a bug, it's not a bug. It's a poor behavior, and I'll talk about this, the reason why it is, and because my artillery is off-map. Check out the victory points, and we start off with 4,600. We have no reinforcements, and the enemy has almost close to twice, let's say 80% of our 1.8 of our units. So he's got almost double what we have. The terrain here is mostly flat plain around here. We've got there's not a lot of cover even in the cover. It's only, if you look in the bottom right hand, that's elevation 4, 50% cover and 40% movement. So even at the high levels, what would normally be thick forests in previous FlashPoint campaign maps is kind of meh, not much cover at all. The real cover is from the town itself, whereas this hex is at 80% cover and others at 90% cover. But the problem is, they're all on flat ground, so there's very little long range visibility for me. And if the enemy gets close in a close-up battle, I'll probably lose it. So if I can't take advantage of the longer range missiles and possible gunnery of my units, if the enemy gets into a knife fight with me, I'm going to die, or more quickly. He's going to get in close. We're not going to be able to kill him fast enough. He's just got probably too many. So let's see what I can set up here. Here's my strategy. I'm going to try to drop a minefield here to try to bottle up the enemy. Not so much bottle him up, but if he comes through this way, tries for the road, I'm going to force him onto the high ground. And to this effect, I'm moving one of my anti-tank teams up on the heights opposite, as well as a cavalry unit to provide observation. From here, we should be able to see quite a ways out, even further than we can shoot. So if he comes down this road, I'll at least have some notification, but I won't have very much protection over here with which to cover with fire. So I've got one anti-tank. If I can force him from this dead location up into one of these heights to cross over, then in open ground, I'm hoping that the anti-tank will be able to take a heavy toll off him. I've ordered one of my mechanized companies up here. We're going to try to hold this position with the scouts here, another mechanized platoon here, and my tanks here. We're going to blow the bridges 2 bridges into Norderfurt, into the victory point locations, and try to get the enemy to fight through them. That means these guys are cut off, and that's life. They're going to live or die on the north side of the river, northwest here. My second mechanized tank, mechanized company is we're going to try to get out to this point and bring fire along these 2 roads. I suspect he's coming from the northern part of the town. I don't know it for sure, but I suspect it. I just wonder if my guys are going to have enough time to get out here. It takes 10 minutes. We should have, maybe a little bit longer than 10 minutes. What the heck? 18 minutes. That's cool. That's an eon. And I've got my 2 mechanized platoons here to try to take up positions here and slow him down. Got my scouts coming up on the far northeastern part, where when they're out here, we can hopefully keep an eye in case he tries to flank. He'll have to come through an open field. I hope that it does not appeal to him to come through an open field. The scouts, even with their reduced amount of firepower, they only have 2 Bradleys. I hope that they can discourage the enemy from taking a roundabout path inwards. And there's the headquarters is going to hang back behind between the cavalry and the headquarters, they'll try to give some modicum of flank protection, but I'm expecting the enemy to come straight down my throat. Even though these guys will be trapped on the other side of the river, from these positions, I'm hoping that they can bring fire onto the road as it approaches, and unless the enemy tries to sidestep it and come down in through the village. So I'm going to blow the bridges and prevent anything from this direction coming, or not prevent, delay anything from this direction, the northwest. And I'm also, once I blow the bridges, I'm also going to build a bridge. This is because in the first turn of the game, normally it takes 30 minutes to either blow or build a bridge. But on the first turn, first turn of a scenario, these operations are conducted instantaneously. So that's a good thing that we're going to have here. So I'm going to blow these 2 down. The reason why I don't keep these bridges up here is when you start a scenario, the designer puts these bridges in, everybody can see them. So the enemy is going to always know that there are bridges here. He's also going to see when they blow. So even though he can't see who blows them or what happened here, he's going to see the bridge destruction. Now, I am building another bridge here in order to bring my reinforcements around. The reason why I'm taking the effort to build a bridge is the enemy cannot see this bridge unless he brings a unit within visible range of this hex. So unless he's got something to see the hex, he won't see the assault bridge go up. That way I'm going to try to sneak my units in behind here and not let the enemy know that there's a bridge here. I'll probably blow it afterwards, but for now I'm going to blow these, build this one, try to be sneaky and bring my reinforcing, what is that, a battalion? Yeah, it looks like a battalion in behind. I'm also splitting up the battalion, sending some of the tanks over here to cover along this edge, the headquarters company and another anti-tank launcher, trying to maintain fire on anything coming down this road. Now, I'll try to keep the bridge open as long as I can, but if I might have to blow it. If I cannot protect, I'll try to protect this 2,000 point victory location, even though I might lose these. So I need 2/3 of them, which is about 6,000 in order to win. So I need at least a 5,000 and maybe a 2 or 5 and 2. So I probably have to protect these 2 locations, but the geography, I'll do what I can to at least protect this one. That's my strategy. Let's see how it works. Oh, there's a couple of things I forgot to mention. I've got my artillery dropping mines here, here, and here. We are always guaranteed a first mine deployment, so I need it on the pass here. This is a guaranteed. This is a nice to have. This is a pipe dream, is what I call it. Most of my units, most of my time that I employ mines, you always get the first one. I find it quite less than 50% chance you'll get a second one, and it's almost, unless you're very, very lucky, to get a third mine deployment. But I'm just trying to slow down the enemy. I think he's gonna come from the north or this direction. Another thing I forgot to mention was my reinforcing units. I'm having them run in at Hasty and to conduct resupply in all their locations. Now, I want to bring note to one of the things I'm going to try is the turn cycles here are 21 and an estimated 21. So at the end of the first 42 minutes, resupply takes 30 minutes. So what I've planned to do here, it's 1400 now, and so if the next turn takes 21 minutes, I'll need 9 minutes, so I can be moving for approximately 12 minutes. And then I would have a full resupply cycle. But we don't know. We can't bank on this being a 21-minute cycle, so I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to allow myself to move approximately 10 minutes out of here. So we'll have 11 minutes from the first supply cycle to conduct resupply, and approximately 20 or 21 minutes that's on the second cycle to conduct resupply, and maybe I can squeak out a little bit of extra gas and readiness and ammunition. So I've got all my units running as fast as they can. We're going to end up here at 9 minutes and start conducting resupply, so that way I really only have to waste one command cycle in order to get a full load of ammo and fuel. And that's pretty much what I'm doing for all of my units that are locked right now. They're going to arrive at their locations in plenty of time, so that we only have to lose one command cycle, so that at the end of this one, after the end of 42 minutes, I shall be able to issue them orders and move again. That's what I hope. If the enemy comes charging forth, barreling down here, I might not have time to conduct resupply, and I might be forced to start my units, send them straight back into battle. I'm hoping that the enemy will exercise some caution and not run helter-skelter. That's the beauty of playing a scenario for the very first time. There are some players who like to, let's say, rehearse a scenario. They'll play it and they'll find out exactly what the other side has, where it starts, how far he can move in one turn, and everything they can, and then plot and then work out an optimal solution for their strategy, that's the way they play, and that's okay. That's the way they play. I try never to do that. I try to only use whatever tactical situation is presented to me on the board. I try to forget, even if I know he starts exactly here, or here, wherever. I would try never to use this, because you wouldn't know unless I had some indication of this on the game, or some hint in my intelligence reports. That's practicing it, and that's taking advantage of foreknowledge. And in war, you don't get do-overs, you don't get mulligans, you don't get to practice. So hopefully this will be the first time, and the enemy is not going to come charging forth. He could, and that's happened before. He could charging forth, and it'll give me just enough time to sneak out one resupply cycle before I send them into combat.
Hello, this is TC. I am getting ready to play Battle of the FlashPoint campaign's Spartans battle. It's from the Germany Reforged expansion. Playing against my buddy Herman. We've played a few battles. I haven't yet to beat him. For some reason, I'm still coming back for more. But I enjoy playing the game and the experience of making these AARs with him. So we'll start off with my situation right now. This is the second day of the war in 1989, of course, notional. It seemed like Soviet forces had some success, but not a lot. And a U.S. Cav Task Force 518 has seized this town of Norderfurt, found it undefended. There are U.S. forces to the east that want to come and retreat through Norderfurt. My job is to close this hole in our lines, seize Norderfurt, and that's the objectives. It's a 7-hour battle, day visibility, 5,250 meters. It starts at 1,400, so it's going to go till 2,100. So and I can't remember exactly when sunset is. Looks like it'll be completely a daylight battle, which is good for me because U.S. forces usually have advantages in bad weather and nighttime. There are 9,000 points in victory point hexes. They are all in the town of Norderfurt. So from that situation, it's pretty simple. I need to seize these units here. My friendly forces, basically a Soviet motorized rifle regiment. Nothing spectacular, nothing fancy, nothing added to it. 3 motorized rifle battalions, each consisting of 3 BTR companies, 1 armored company, and I can't remember which, T-80Us. So pretty good firepower, and then of course the Soviet usual, all their extra units they have. They liked all the anti-tank units, and each has a mortar battery. Each motorized rifle battalion has that. Also have the regimental anti-tank units, BRDM2s with AT4s. They're not super effective in the attack. I've got a fair bit of artillery support. 3 on map batteries, 1, 2, 3 of 122 millimeter, and then 3 off map batteries of the 2S3 M1s, which are 152 millimeter. Since he has a cav squadron, essentially, and considering the situation, I'm making some assumptions. He's not going to have a whole lot of artillery to support him outside of what's organic to it, which I think is just mortars. I don't expect him to have air support. Again, I don't know. I do have all my SA 14 platoons. I think 3 platoons per battalion. Don't know what they'll do to, if he has Apaches or even 58s, at least for observation. My basic battle plan right now is I'm going to send 1 battalion straight up the gut. So the map situation, here's Norderfurt. There's this range of hill here. There's the river here with limited crossings. And then there's another hill here. So there's one avenue of approach here, 1 from the north. Everything else has, restricted movement terrain with the hills and the forest. I'm going to send 1 motorized rifle battalion right up the gut. Soviet doctrine, I'm dropping a bunch of smoke right through here. I doubt it'll do much since it's U.S. forces, but even if it affects his infantry or whatever, if it helps, it helps. Another 2nd battalion is going to go up here. I have a 1 company seizing that spot and a little bit of overwatch, and then after that I have a delay hasty move, so it'd be road march along over to Autobahn 84 to get there. The point is, I want to poke my nose through here. If he is busy and embroiled in the battle here, maybe he thinks that's my main effort. He's going to move some forces here. At least probe, figure out what he has here. Of course, does he? I don't know if he has any units up on this hill or not. I'm making an assumption that he doesn't. And then the 3rd motorized rifle battalion is right there. They're sitting there. They're my reserve. They're where I'm going to commit to wherever I think I need them. One option would be come right through this gap here, since I can go around the river and plunge right through here. Another option would be to support if this battalion is able to get through and make some progress into the town. That's a possibility. The 3rd option, it would be swing them all the way wide and come up from this side. If he's only got, a battalion plus in here, he's not going to be able to defend every approach equally. So that's a 3rd option. Of course, getting across this river would mean going this way, or I could use the 1st battalion. If they're probing here and there, I'm kind of doing a halfway attack, a probe here just to see what he has. I could have some units bridge their secondary effect. That could help me move through there. Of course, with 5,200 meter visibility, he should be able to see pretty far what I'm doing. But that's my basic plan for this battle. Okay, looks like we're going to start the battle. Always makes me a little nervous to hit proceed, because then I'm locked into whatever There we go. We're moving down. I hear him blowing bridges. He's putting mines there. I have to remember that. That's one of the problems with playing this PBEM is I forget where he lays. I wish there was an overlay I could build. So here I am dropping my smoke. I'm across the river, at least to the north, which makes me pretty happy. You know, the BTR units in my infantry, getting a foothold into this town where I can overcome his advantages with if assuming he has M3s and M1s, at least getting into the town. I'm moving quicker than I thought I would. I'm really surprised. That's a huge advantage to sneak in there. And looks like we found the bad guys. There we go. First shots are really important. The battle's launched. I am locked close in with him. I have numerical advantages usually. I prefer close in fight. A knife fight, it definitely goes to my guy's advantage. Since U.S. forces knife fight, you know, my numerical superiority is good. Especially when BTR 80s do not match up against his M2s and M3s. So getting my infantry dismounted and shooting back, that's a good thing. There we go. Oh, got a dragon. That's good. That's his anti-tank guided missile unit. This got bloody quick. That smoke didn't do me much good. I do hope these on-call guys up here will decide to start doing some stuff. Well, one thing I did put 2 of my batteries on counter battery. I don't think he's going to have a lot of artillery fire, but just knowing my opponent, he's good at keeping his artillery alive most of the battle. Alright, there we go.
We start, and my units race in towards the town. The enemy starts dropping his smoke, so it gives me an indication of which direction from which he's coming. If he's dropping it here, he's trying to hide something behind this behind this wall of smoke. Yeah, wow, he's sure spending lots of it. So that's at least 3 artillery batteries he has. 4. He's really laying it on thick. Now we can see that, look at this. How the hell do we know what the Guards mortar rifle off-map artillery is shooting? Huh? Just another stupid bug. And he's already... Give me a break. He's already within the city. So that's 1, 2, 3, that's 4 already he's placed on here. 2... and 3. So that's 6 smoke screens he's brought. And within minutes, 6 minutes, he's already within the outskirts of the city. This kind of scenario is how should I call it? A king of the hill scenario, where all you have to do is rush forward as fast as you humanly possibly can in order to get into the enemy. First, there's very little tactical maneuvering, in my opinion. You just run as fast as you can. The cavalry moves up. Yeah, he's already in the city. See, right, already on top of us, and we still haven't even had a chance to move in. Just moving forward. There's nowhere to defend along this, and everything here is covered because you can't see it. There's no terrain elevation. This game's probably already lost simply because if you bring in a 30-unit motorized rifle company, there's no way. There's not enough firepower in all the world to kill it. I could stack up every single tank and every single infantry company platoon I had onto one hex, and you couldn't kill an enemy company. There just isn't enough firepower. And he's already in the city, so this is pretty much game over. He can't shoot fast enough, far enough. And at close range, his pop guns are just as good as your main tank cannon. So we slug it out. at point blank range. And he continues to kill my mechanized infantry squad. That's over 100 hits we need here. Alone. Isn't going to happen. I've got to keep my artillery off board. Hopefully, maybe they'll be able to kill some of his off-board artillery. And he's just killed my long-range Dragon launcher. Anti-tank guided missile. So much for getting a resupply cycle here, right? We're going to have to throw these in. It's just a total knife fight constantly. What's the point of having long-range weapons when you're always fighting it out with switchblades? Nowhere to fight around it. No maneuvering. And we lose another heavy machine gun squad and mechanized rifles. Okay, 21 minutes in, and I think the game's already over. The enemy's already in the up suburbs, and I didn't even have 18 minutes with which to get to the edge of town. 18 minutes. That's it. Didn't even have that long to get to the edge of town. So I looking at this and wondering, what the hell am I supposed to do? There was no option. We're always going to be fighting within the outskirts of town. Okay. Well, in a slugging match like this, I need 100 hits just to try and kill these 3 motorized rifle companies. And it's going to happen. My cavalry tried to advance up here under a deliberate move, and it got chased off. Just because by the presence of the enemy. Couldn't advance. So, now I've got to try. I'm not even sure if they'll go ahead. Under an assault mode, this leaves them more exposed. Instead of a covered posture approach, now I have to actually go in an exposed posture. This is a version 2.10 change. Previously in 2.08, we could have advanced up here under a more protective posture. Now, under covered posture. Now, in order to try and make these units actually go towards the enemy, I have to send them under an assault heading, which means they don't get the protection of these. I suspect they're going to get slaughtered the second they get in here. Now, that's a 2.10 change. Previously, we could have gone up under a safer posture, but not under 2.10. I don't have any chance to rearm and resupply my units here, so I'm throwing them up to die in the fields here. These are all the visibility in here is all 500 meters. So I don't know where I'm supposed to be, what kind of strategy I'm supposed to be using here, because they're going to be fighting with their long-range missiles at a range of 500 meters. It's going to be a slaughter. No other choice. I'm trying to move some headquarters units here. Maybe we can blow this bridge, but I just don't see any chance of holding I think it's game over. Here we go. We'll continue to hold our 3 positions here. If they decide to come down the road, we can bring fire upon it. It's just harassment fire. It's nothing high intensity, high accuracy. I have kept my fire support in counter battery. Maybe we'll actually be able to kill some of the enemy artillery that's off board. We killed 2 armored personnel carriers, which is okay. But I'm not going to... There's no point in firing the artillery at these units simply because they're in a city hex. They get the protection of a city hex, and there's just no way to kill them effectively. All I'm doing is exposing my artillery to enemy counterfire for destruction. My units do get across the bridge, and we continue to fire on the enemy motorized rifle company. But he gets to fire back too, dropping mortars on this anti-tank section coming up the road. He's exposed, and we managed to kill some of the lighter one of the rocket-propelled grenade squads. The cavalry manages to survive long enough, and we spot enemy units in the far side of town. These are just his light howitzers. Yeah, they're just small guns. 82 millimeter, I think. Mortars. The cavalry exchange and take a lot of fire from his enemy, from the motorized rifle company. The enemy launches another anti-tank guided missile, killing another mechanized rifle squad. Look at that. All this close range, and there's just getting nothing. Just nothing. There's no way to bring enough firepower. Once they're in the city, it's game over. We fire, and we manage to get one. What is it? He's on the move, so we got the armored personnel carrier and the passenger. More mortar fire lands on his anti-tank section, killing two more, the vehicle and the recoilless rifle team within.
Okay, here we go. Let's see how this goes. Realized last turn I had not done something I had wanted to do for a little mood music, so we're adding it now. I'm not sure. So you see this one battalion is moving around this mountain. Got my knife fight going on here. At least, come on, I gotta do some attrition on. It's like two companies, a mech infantry and an armor company. Come on. Oh, okay, so he's got his little M3 scav. There we go, a little attrition. I'm noticing on call, not called any artillery in yet. Oh, here comes the mortars on me. Wow, it's pretty accurate and effective. We're ready to start the next turn. Give a few orders. Found out some of his artillery. I'm trying to close the gap again. You know, like the knife fight. Let's do some nice counter battery here. Yeah, see the BroJD blue there? Bringing in the big guns. Alright, well, the 120. That's my mortars there. So the smaller gun. If nothing else, it degrades his race. There we go. Closing in. Let's make it a. Oh, you know what? I just realized I caught an artillery when my own guys are attacking, which is a stupid rookie mistake. Oh, big gun. Guys, M1 firing at close range. Ouch. And that's his mortar attacking again. When are my guys gonna shoot back? Ouch. There we go. Finally. Take out some M Bradleys. There we go. Now I got my tank company close to his tank platoon. See, this is my stupidity. My stupidity. There you go. Look at that. Killing my own guys. Killing my own guys. Stupidity. Because his guys are dug in, so they're more resistant to the artillery fire. I wonder if you shoot it in school. No, maybe not. There we go. Secondaries. Beautiful. Beautiful. You know, I pull on these Sager BRDMs up here, and I realized their range is 2,500 meters, which is just to here from the town. And then if he's facing Bradleys with tows that have a 3,750 meter range, he's got a 1,250 meter range advantage on me. So putting these guys on this here just makes light rain, max visibility 2,000. So putting them up here just makes some targets. Like I said, you know, the Soviets had all these toys, these BRDMs with Sagers, and the Soviets were the attackers. These are much better on the defense. Ceasefire, guys. You're killing your own Tavarishan. What I want to do is take out this armor here. Quit wasting your fire on those guys. My armor should be firing on his armor. There we go. The thing is, with his platoons, every guy you take out does a lot of damage. You attrit their firepower very quickly. I wonder where his next line of attack. That's where I need to be thinking. Where his next line is. It's my own guys. To figure out what I'm going to do next. I'm really thinking if I get up here and I don't see much, I might send that 2nd battalion down here, the one that's uncommitted. Again, at least for the short term, I expect to win this battle here. The question is, where do I go from there? And I can slowly move through the town. Really? Come on. Yeah, there we go. Get them moving. When they're moving, they're more vulnerable. There we go. Look at that. Ha ha. That's to be done, yeah.
My units scurry forward. The enemy counter battery catches my mortar section. Enemy artillery drops on my forward infantry platoon as well, and the 2nd infantry platoon. This S symbol means that she'll be wiped out this turn. Now, I've kind of held back my artillery, hoping that the enemy will fire his so that I can try to kill him with counter battery fire. Don't know about how well that's going so far. The enemy overruns and we kill one of his mechanized infantry squads. The tanks fire and kill. Oh, it's 3 more. 4. Yes, when going into an assault mode, they are quite vulnerable. So we kill 2 plus their passengers. More mortar fire drops on the enemy anti-tank section, and we have 1 secondary explosion. The tanks continue to fire, and we're overrun by the motorized rifle company. And the set backup approaches. The enemy tank company approaches and destroys one of my cavalry units. Looks like we're going to get wiped out this turn. Both Bradleys are destroyed. More artillery fired lands on my mechanized infantry platoon. The enemy is wise and he's bringing his artillery fire on top of right on top of the attack. So he's hitting his own guys, but he's trying to go after one of my tanks, which is well worthwhile. When coming after an Abrams is worth what, 120 points, whereas he might just lose a couple of 5 or 10 point squads in exchange for an Abrams. Well worth it. More counter battery fire lands on my mortar section, and it kills one of them. Notice how this is off-map artillery shooting, and how the hell do we see off-map artillery shooting? Looks like another game bug. And he's blasting us in destroying another mortar section. Hopefully my counter battery will catch some of his off-map artillery. Destroy another armored personnel carrier, but he exterminates pretty much both of my Bradleys. Now we try to run, and now we're going to get murdered. The overrunning motorized rifle company loses 2 more armored personnel carriers. And the weather's turned sour. More artillery lands on my mechanized infantry platoon, and we survive. And it lands on his forward, his advancing motorized rifle, and he survives. No loss. My mortar section has displaced at half strength. The enemy fires again as my cowardly infantry try to flee and destroys an automatic grenade launching squad. The enemy tanks are nice and point blank range and fire to destroy an Abrams. More artillery lands on my mechanized infantry platoon as well as my tanks. We both survive. And the enemy pounds his own positions, destroying some of his squads. Look at that. off-map artillery shooting. Thank you for all that free information. He kills one of his armored personnel carriers and 2 squads. But he finally wipes out my mechanized infantry platoon. He fires again, kills another Abrams. And now the Abrams are trying to flee. The mechanized infantry fires back and kills one mechanized infantry squad. The Abrams runs to the east. No respite. Killed by acting cowardly. He's shot in the back and destroyed more easily. The enemy grinds forward, and I'm trying to retreat, but this tank's going to be destroyed as we get to the outskirts of the town, if we survive that long. I've decided with my counter battery, with my artillery, there's no point in holding it back. I need to fire, and I'm going to, after this stack with the improved conventional munitions. With his infantry and tanks stacked up here, we might actually get some worthwhile kills. My tank and infantry have moved up to the blocking positions and to throw their bodies into the gap. The first ICM missions arrive. And we have many fireballs. Will it be enough? We need to kill the big, expensive tanks. The infantry is, well, it's nice that they stacked them together, but it's the tanks I need to kill. The ICM rips out 12 armored personnel carriers. How many? I need 12 tanks. It would be better. Well, we're doing pretty well so far. 3. Keep our fingers crossed. 4. Well, not worth a couple of Abrams. We bring our artillery, our mortars, back onto the enemy anti-tank section coming north. But of course, their decimated ranks mean that they can't fire. They're pretty much worthless. The tank drops into resupply right in the middle of the combat. We couldn't get away from these guys, so the second ICM appears and looks. It's off-map artillery shooting. That's right. This is our artillery. That's fine, and we should be notified about ours. But we should never be notified about the enemies. More secondary explosion, and we're getting some tanks this time. This is excellent shooting. This 5 tanks. 4 tanks? Did we wipe it out? Now, where's the enemy? Have we exterminated it? We don't seem to be detected anything here. If we have exterminated it, that would be a stroke of luck. And a faint hope that we might actually survive this ordeal. I'm keeping the infantry, an infantry platoon here, as she can fire down the road and still bring fire upon this canyon or crossing. The mortars drop, and we do get 1 fireball from the anti-tank section. We're throwing them into resupply to try to maximize in case the enemy still comes from the west.
Okay, and more attacking for me. We just got. So he does have big artillery. You know, I was thinking about it. I thought my assumption at the beginning had been right that he did not have big artillery, but there it comes. There's 2, 3. That's ugly. So that's a lesson against massing my forces. Yeah, and see, these guys are mounted, so every hit takes out. No, don't take out my armor. No. I hope he's got very limited in this. Ouch. That's bad. So when the troops are mounted, you take out 1 vehicle, you also take out the squad or team that's on it. Is my counter battery picking up whoever's doing the shooting? Ouch. 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 Yeah, this is bad. Come on, I got 1 guy on counter battery. These guys are on call. I got one of my I'm pretty sure one of my off-map artillery units is on counter battery too. These guys need to move forward. So I've given my orders. got a lot of artillery hitting. This is where he was hitting me from. Might just be the mortars that were hitting me from there. I hope he's out of ICMs. The improved conventional munitions are what really tore up. I lost over half of my company, armored company, plus the mech guys took some beatings. These two guys right now are both low on ammo and morale, so that's really slowing down the attack right now. And I've called some artillery on this spot as well, so I have those guys holding at least for this turn. So we'll see how. And then I started moving more of this battalion up. I still haven't decided when and how to commit this battalion here. One potential course of action would be just to run them right through here and let them do a follow and assume the attack here while these guys rest up, since they're already down to 50%. But one I'm exchanged half a battalion for most of another battalion. This is his M3s, right? I forgot if they were there. And then the other one is to do the swing around and let him hit from the side with these guys in a supporting position, or have a simultaneously attack from here and here. Let's see some secondaries. Drinking some whiskey now, some Jack Daniels whiskey. I really should be drinking vodka to be even more. There we go. I love that. That's beautiful. Ooh, self-propelled artillery, didn't say mortars. It'd be nice if I take out his big tubes. There we go. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. We'll take out the Bradleys too. Good thing about the Bradleys, that's most of the firepower. The bad thing is the infantry that are left are going to be hard to read out. So he has something right there. He just shot an anti-tank guided missile. Probably another M2 or M3. Need to remember that and target it. Here we go. Secondary time. Okay, one of the disadvantages of playing the play by email, and if I was really into it, I would have a notebook next to me. But I won't get to this for another day or two or three, or since I might be traveling this weekend for Thanksgiving, it might be a week before I get to that. So I will need to make a note to myself to do that.
The enemy continues to fire, and his counter battery catches my mortars again. We're going to get wiped out this turn. Well, that's the point of it, isn't it? See, there's nothing you can do about counter battery fire. You can't, either you don't fire or you fire, and you never move fast enough. You can't tell it to fire faster, slower, to do anything to avoid the counter battery. You just fire and get destroyed. That's the point. That's a big reason why I never. Well, with 2.08, we had a choice. We could turn off the fire support control center. You can't do this in 2.0 and 2.10. They take more losses. Notice that we see the enemy's off-map artillery firing on us. He tells us he's firing on us. The enemy closes and overruns my retreating Abrams. Now we're never going to get a full reload. He kills another heavy machine gun squad here. More enemy artillery reports. Look at all that firing, and my artillery is not counter-firing counter battery against it. The enemy infantry advances and kills my expensive Abrams with his cheap infantry. A 5-point infantry squad with a rocket launcher destroys a very expensive tank. I've dropped the artillery on the advancing anti-tank and I think their headquarters units, because dropping them on the city is probably a waste. At least these are in the open and can be destroyed. And we smash an armored personnel carrier. Hopefully that was a headquarters or something valuable. Now the artillery shifts onto the anti-tank unit advancing down the road, and we are rewarded with a few more fireballs. Not enough to wipe it out though. Even in the open field and movement, he's not enough to wipe it out. Third artillery barrage drops onto the enemy infantry in the city. I might have to reconsider this, since I am getting some kills here, but not enough. It's just one artillery battery, and it leaves me open to enemy counter battery fire from his off-map units. We kill one armored personnel carrier and a headquarters. On the west, notice there's something coming down the road. I had seen an infantry unit up here at the end of last turn, and I'm glad I've left units here to cover. Looks like this is a self-propelled anti-tank unit and an air defense unit. Is this a probe, or is he actually looking? There was a motorized rifle company coming down the hill before the weather turned sour. So I'm glad I left something up here. I just hope it's enough to stop him. And I also have the motorized rifle company, mechanized infantry platoon sitting there. I've dropped my units into a final resupply to try to maximize their ammunition. It looks like he's stopped coming through here, but I've lost track of the infantry unit in the city hex here. And he's now bringing up his cheap artillery. I might have to go after it since it can still knock down and destroy my infantry, even though it's very light mortars. I hate wasting good artillery on crappy artillery. I don't think he's sending a probe. I think it's an actual attack from the west.
Another turn for the Russians. There we go. Take out that Abrams. That's the perfect way to start this turn. So, see what's going to. Oh, that's not going to lose a headquarters unit. That will hurt my command time. Was that his big guns or was that his mortars? I was not paying close attention. I had a little 8-year-old daughter who wanted to show me a Calvin and Hobbes comic. Jeez. You know, those guys aren't that worthwhile, but I'm pulling them forward because I really kind of want those guys to scout. Yeah, I need to find out where that guy is shooting from. Yeah. So I put my mortars all the way up to here. I was hoping this guy would be cleared before they did that. But they were out of range up here in the city, so I need to move them here. Anywhere out in the open, they're going to get just decimated. Should be a quick turn, only 1 minute till my opponent's orders. Oh, heavy rain, visibility 500 meters. Heavy rain, I do believe, affects his optics as well. It gives me something to think about. Do I want to go ahead and use this as an opportunity to move my forces in close?
The weather is absolutely suck. Oh, there comes his anti-tank unit, but totally lost. No idea where it is now. My infantry holds out. I'm bringing up my resupplied infantry and tanks, or infantry, to try to replace these tank units on the line and bring them back for a full resupply. But the enemy spotted me. He's brought artillery onto my tanks, on my cavalry, trying to knock out my scouts as they detect him. And he kills one of my scout squads. I drop my artillery onto his artillery, trying to take it out. We have a couple of secondary explosions. Let's see if he displaces. Something has displaced from here to here. And he continues to try to knock out my cavalry. But they're my best sensors, and we're totally freaking blind right now. Can't see it. 500 meters, can't even see it. Just went sour. Maybe something is detecting me, even though I cannot see it. I don't see how. My sensors should be superior to the enemy. We bring our second barrage of artillery onto the enemy mortars. Several more fireballs. He was exposed, trying to fire at me probably. My unit displaces to avoid enemy attack, counter-battery attack. The infantry advances down the road and we engage. He continues to bring his heavy artillery onto my beleaguered scouts. And we start taking losses from it. We lose one scout squad. We bring our artillery onto the enemy unit. I'm trying to dismount him by knocking out some... No, nothing. I was hoping to hit some of his armored personnel carriers in order to cause him to slow down, but if he's marching... Oh, look at that. Look at that massive units. We have a couple of mechanized platoons, but that's not enough to kill this many motorized rifle troops. There's just too many to be killed, and look how ineffective our fire is. With that massive artillery, the only thing that will bring him down is lots of artillery. This massive troops. He's up in artillery, he's on the mines, and we fire feebly at him. We do get a kill from our armored personnel carriers. I'm trying to pull out the scouts to rearm and reload, but I don't know if the AI is going to let them. My second scout infantry platoon opens fire and kills another anti-tank squad. Oh, the scouts have managed to relocate. Excellent. We fire again, and it looks like the enemy is trying to flee to the north. With that little black triangle, indicates he's trying to run. Our artillery comes down on the infantry, but I wish I had caught both of them at the same time. Guess he's just moving too quickly. This one's motorized, while this one is now on foot after having its transports destroyed, or too many transports destroyed. We bomb it and kill only 2 little mechanized rifle squads. We have an entire company of Bradleys firing on him and still unable to kill him, even though he's in very exposed posture trying to run. Second barrage of artillery lands, and we have a few more fireballs. Actually, exactly 1 fireball. Look at that. Totally exposed, and we can't kill it. The cavalry manages to relocate and is now resupplying, hopefully. The third and final artillery barrage arrives. And a whole lot of nothing.
Okay, I've had a bit of a delay. I've had some technical problems with the game. Oh, that's what my friend was telling me about. It was kind of jumping around. Got my artillery coming in on, I think you got the M3 Devers there. And I took some fire from there, I think on some Bradleys or Devers, you know, the M2, M3 variant. But that one obviously failed. There we go, there we go, there we go. 1 Recce killed. Oh, off my artillery, now shooting. Taking out my mortars. Taking out my... Come on. Let's see some secondaries. Let's see some secondaries. Boom! Nope. Wonder if he scooted. Hitting him again. I hope my dog snoring behind me doesn't show up on this. Yep, hitting me again. Ah! And those are really beautiful explosions if you look tight. Wow. These guys are in a village and they're just getting nailed. Okay, there we go. We got more contact. Let's hold. Let's hold. There we go. I saw him again. There we go. There we go. So I took fire from there and there. Okay, got my guys over them up here on the mountain looking. This is a long turn for me. I don't know why my command time has gotten so high. Probably because I've got a whole battalion sitting up there. And I need to close these guys up. One of my problems I'm seeing now. So there's the second line. So... yeah, so I'd send that guy up the scout, so he's got guys there and there. These guys are moving out. Okay. Come on, guys. Let's clear these guys. The Russians were good at artillery. I need to get to it so I can call it in. Call it in. Just live, okay? Just stop moving. See, the 2 means he's moving deliberately. What is that? Ouch. I've seen almost no secondaries on the enemy this turn. Okay. My orders, the problem I think I was telling you, I'm down to 11 orders I can give. I have a whole battalion I need to move up. Plus, given my artillery orders, 4 to 6 batteries a turn, I don't have the order capacity to make what I need to happen. There we go. Let's take out. There we go. Dragon. That's a big threat to my Bradleys and stuff. Oh, light rain, 2,000 meters. Can I have this guy assaulting? Come on, take him out. Oh, ooh. So I'm taking fire from there. Ooh, he's got guys on the hill there. Oh, okay. So this is a huge problem now. He can see me in this rain, and I cannot see him. At least I know where he is, and that's, you know, part of the point. Oh, Bradley's falling back. And I ordered 4 or 5 of my 6 artillery batteries to hit these 2 frontline units. There we go. And my mortar too. I don't want to get my armor too close to him. Again, even if the artillery doesn't take out things, it affects his readiness, which makes them less effective. And you know, I gotta just... Ouch. So right there, I gotta remember he's got something there. And on that hill. So, got it.
The enemy closes on my infantry and exchanges lots of anti-tank guided missiles, with one scoring a hit, killing my long-range Dragon launcher. But we fire back, and we kill one of his anti-tank guided missiles. The weather clears a little bit, and we see the enemy approaching from the west. Let's pause for a moment, and we'll see. We have an anti-tank guided missile launch engaging a unit on top the hill. It's the enemy self-propelled anti-tank. Diamond cut diamond. My self-propelled anti-tank against his. We also have, looks like some kind of air defense unit. He's using his, and another armored personnel carrier with anti-tank. So it seems as though the enemy is sending his light forces to scout ahead and sacrifice them. Here's the infantry. Looks like another anti-tank unit possibly, and a motorized rifle company. So he's using his forces very well to pin my forces with sacrificial lambs. We open fire again. Anti-tank guided missiles engaging anti-tank guided surface. I think it's an anti-tank team here. We kill 2 armored personnel carriers. The tanks fire and kill one of the self-propelled anti-tank launchers. He brings his artillery onto my infantry and my other mechanized infantry platoon. We take a loss. Our heavy machine gun squad is destroyed, and he continues to bring the artillery. We see this off-map. We're getting reports of his off-map shooting, which we shouldn't, of course. My infantry retreats. We're holding them back while we conduct resupply. My anti-tank guided missile launcher fires again, and I think we wiped out his launcher. The enemy continues to advance down the road, or off-road. The enemy approaches from the west, but my enemy is actually closer to home. I'm fighting the AI for control of my own resources. I had this unit here stopped, and he tried to resupply, but of course, because he's only 1 kilometer away from the enemy, he has to run, even though the enemy didn't detect him. So now I've got to start the resupplies process over again, because of my own idiot AI. This infantry platoon, I wanted to throw him into resupply as well at 81%. He's not detected by the enemy, but the second I do, he'll start running. So, once again, the AI replaces my good decisions with its shitty ones. Let's see if we can hold them with our anti-tank guided missile launchers. We exchange fire across the valley. The enemy is trying to overrun my reconnaissance scout survivor with 5 tanks. He probably will win. We kill an armored personnel carrier and the headquarters squad within. The enemy brings his artillery back onto my motorized mechanized infantry platoon. He's really bringing it hard, hitting them both. His heavy guns are, even though they don't kill us, look at it, how he brings down our morale and readiness. So even if they should survive, there they go. He'll make them run simply by driving them down to nothing. But of course, he does much more than that. He actually kills them. Another Bradley and a mechanized infantry squad are destroyed. We fire back. How can we fire back? Our artillery is in resupply. This is just nonsense, isn't it? We can't fire on the enemy, but we can fire counter battery. See, still under resupply. We fire across the valley and kill one of his armored personnel carrier. And we fire into the infantry and knock out an armored personnel carrier here too. The enemy brings a second barrage. The first one was lethal enough. The second one's probably going to smash 2 or 3. Yep, more fireballs. Another Bradley goes up in flames. Looks like he's trying to stay below the horizon here. Or is he heading into the woods for cover? More fireballs from my mechanized infantry platoon. The 40mm grenade launching squad is destroyed. Anti-tank missiles launch, and we do get a hit. The anti-tank section is finally destroyed. I'm trying to move my anti-tank launcher to the west in order to fire on support from over this hill, but probably won't have the range. The tanks fire again and kill another mechanized infantry squad coming down the road. We send him fleeing to the northeast. The mechanized infantry platoon fires and kills another 2 mechanized infantry squads. Pretty worthless. 5 points each. We're not getting any hits across the valley. We just can't seem to hit anything. Lots of missiles, anti-tank guided missiles go out, but nothing is hit. The air defense, it's an anti-tank section, closes, and he's really shooting it out with my cavalry now. My second orders phase is about to begin. My second orders phase. I'm trying to pull off my units that are very low supply in order to conduct resupply out of the line of fire. If the enemy has seen where they were firing from last time, he's more than likely to drop artillery on their butts this time. So I'm trying to get them out. My units are detected here. I think this one's probably going to be destroyed. Since he is detected, this one might have a chance to pull out and conduct resupply, but he's in pretty desperate straits. This one, I can't decide if he's about 50% readiness. So I've decided to make him hold. We'll try to cover the retreat of the other platoon. He'll probably be wiped out by artillery next turn. My other units are disengaging. My tanks are down to 30%. We're going to try to pull out and resupply, and the other infantry platoon is going to move off to support by fire anything coming down this road. My tank's going to move up to temporarily block it, but hopefully stay out of the enemy artillery fire. Oh, just to make sure everyone noticed, my artillery is still on resupply. So the counter battery, I don't know where the hell it was fired from, but it wasn't my units. We're going to try to switch out these units, the one that I tried to resupply before. Now that he's down, spent some more ammo, we're going to try to pull him out and resupply on the side. Here we go. The cavalry engage long range, no hits on his anti-tank section in the valley. We pulled off. Hopefully we can get a resupply cycle in time to put him back up.
So we got some mech infantry there. See, this is trouble. He's gonna just, especially this 2,000 meter range, he's gonna aim me up here. Although I'd already decided to send my other battalion this way, this has pretty much convinced me. He's got a really good location there. Oh, look at the little smoking guys. Cool. That's a new animation, I think. Here we go. Come on. This is where I can really make my money here. Knock out some of these guys. There we go. Look nice, nice secondaries. There we go. Beautiful. Come on, let's get more. Yeah, these guys are in trouble. Because they're going to outrange my AT4s. I don't know what's the BMPs, and I take range. Yeah, so he's concentrated over here. I really think if I can get my battalion over here, come around. Although they'll, there you go. They'll definitely be seen across this field. It'll be too fast. Plus, he's gonna be worried about the attack here. I just gotta send these guys to ground, and I don't expect them to contribute significantly to the battle. There we go. Really want to clear this guy out. Come on. Ouch. So they're in there. So that guy was my eyes and ears for a while. Don't you love how hit one, it goes from 2 to 4. It's actually a good thing of the game is you don't know how many are out there. You're just, the number you see there is what your units are reporting. Are we returning fire? Be nice to take out just 3 of them there, really. This 2,000 meter right now is what's killing me, the range. I don't know why it's sped up there. We're gonna get this going again. Here we go. My main effort was pulling that battalion around. Up, got some visibility, which means I can get a shot farther. This guy can range him. I do not know how the game's sped up. I did not change it. There we go. There we go. Tell you, when he has these low density units, everyone I take out is huge. Here come the big boys. Wish I'd seen some secondaries. Let's see the secondaries. This is not good. Okay, sorry about that. Here we go. Secondaries here. Secondaries here. Boom! There we go. There we go. Ooh. I think I took out the. Did I really take out the cav? The squad earlier? Just because I don't see it 3927. Just because I don't see them doesn't mean they're not there. Oh, interesting. That's. Okay, so these are the mortars. He's got infantry there and he's got Bradleys there. There we go. Look at that. I love it. I love it. Bring in the big boys. Do another one. It's funny. I just sent all these guys to ground up here in the woods, and now I've taken out at least one of the platoons, the cav platoons that was holding me up, or sections really, if it's just. But here we're going to see some secondaries on this one, I hope. There we go. There we go. Ooh, the second one was a vehicle. Vehicle. Ooh. Ooh, he's going to be cussing there. Wow. Second thought, maybe this battalion will be able to punch through to the side. Again, I'm dealing with limited orders, 11 orders per turn. And considering I have to manually target about, well, including my mortars, that's 9 artillery to target. I've got a couple in counter barrier and 2 of my mortars aren't in it, so I'm spending 6 of my limited orders just on my artillery units, which they're very helpful. As you see, they're making an impact, but it means I can't give my maneuver units orders. Do svidaniya.
We fire even though refueling, and we kill an infantry squad and drive him off. The cavalry fires and kills the anti-tank launcher squad, but the anti-tank squad fires back and kills a cavalry scout. More artillery lands on my mechanized infantry, but we do survive, and we manage to escape from the other hex. More artillery arrives on my cavalry, and the first artillery barrages come and destroy the 2 armored personnel carriers. Now, we tried to run off in this way, and now we have to run back in this direction to commit suicide? Let's pause for just a moment to say, notice how I had ordered my unit out of here, down here, and the AI once again replaces my good decision with its bad decision and forces it back up on the hill. More artillery arrives on the cavalry. Oh, I came back just in time to be shelled! Isn't that a genius AI we have here? I ran away, I had escaped, but no, the AI decided that I had to run back in this here so I could get blasted. Just wonderful. Still fighting my AI for control of my units. So we lose all 4 armored anti-tank launchers because the AI would not respond to orders. Yeah, we finally blast a few more and we're still getting enemy artillery reports. We're bringing the artillery, we're trying to pull out my infantry unit from its exposed position. We're bringing the artillery onto his anti-tank launchers and trying to slam them while they're in the open woods. Open field, open road. We bring 2 Browns, and I'm going to be firing 1 more at the other self-propelled up here. We've replaced, and we've managed to pull out and to conduct resupply. We do hit the self-propelled anti-tank and get several fireballs. Get 3, I think we wiped it out. That's pretty darned effective. The enemy seems to have given me slight respite, so I'm going to try and get a resupply cycle out of my infantry if he doesn't get chased off by some housewives with brooms. He's at 71%, and the other one hopefully will give him provide sufficient cover while he conducts his resupply. The AI has destroyed my force on the hill. There's no other than a few machine guns and a cavalry scout, so I have eyes up here, but no teeth. Thanks, Mr. AI.
Time for another turn. I have got my other battalion should be moving down here soon. We're resetting. Artillery's coming in. 1 hit. 2 hits. Infantry on the open are going to get pounded. But, you know, I'm losing infantry, he's losing Bradleys. And some sound adjustments. Oh, we can see him. Oh yeah, that little dot should tell me that. Don't like losing that. Those guys are gone too. Okay. Wow, nothing happened down south there. Orders have been given, and we only got 2 minutes to play. So there should not be a lot going on. Movement delay because I got too many guys here. I really need to clear these guys, and my guys moved too quickly before the artillery that's about to fall on them.
More close quarters combat with my beleaguered cavalry scouts. We survive. I'm going to make a note of my orders in case someone else is watching. I noticed that my last command cycle was 16 minutes and this one's 15 minutes. And this is quite excellent because I ordered some of my units into resupply during the last recycle, and this means that after exactly 31 minutes they will be ready for action. This is kind of the best of all possible worlds, because we don't waste a single moment and we get right back into the action as soon as possible. Even 16 and 16 means that at the end of 32 minutes our unit would be back in action, but because it's 16 and 15, that's exactly a total of 31 minutes. The resupply cycle should take 30 minutes only, so at 15 and 15 that should be perfect, right? Wrong. Because at 15 and 15, after the end of 30 minutes, the AI, quite often, usually, the unit is not resupplied and it takes 1 minute more. So, by having a total of 31 minutes in between turns, we actually get the unit right back into action faster. So, maybe a little bit of luck is falling my way. The enemy is looking, we can see the little black triangle here, meaning that he's going to be trying to run through us like a hot knife through butter. So he's coming at, this indicates very hasty movement. And hasty movement usually indicates very exposed posture. So we're going to try to bring some artillery onto him. What I've done is I'm going to try to lead him a little bit. If he runs into this hex, we're going to try to catch him here. Even if he doesn't get here fast enough, I'm hoping the AI will auto-correct and move. If he doesn't leave the hex in time, the AI will still auto-shift the artillery onto the next nearest location. In general, this auto-shift of artillery was introduced in, I think, version 2.05 or so. It's kind of nice if you know how to use it, if you remember it, but sometimes it shifts in the wrong direction too, and sometimes it does not shift. But for the most part, NATO generally gives this advantage that the artillery will shift onto, if there's no enemy unit here, it will shift onto the next one within 1 hex range. And I brought the other 2 artillery batteries. We're going to try to go after this artillery unit. It's only light mortars, but his light mortars are really quite punishing because they reduce my readiness and morale. So they're still worth killing. Here we go. Oh, he did shift and he moved up. Okay, so we are going to catch him in the new hex, but he's engaging my infantry from across the valley, but that means he gets to pull in more of his artillery. That's not good for this infantry. He's dropping smoke, hoping to hide. He's trying to make his advance across the open area. So I hope that my sensors will be able to spot him and engage right through the smoke. I lose another infantry squad from close combat. The automatic grenade squad. I'm moving the cavalry up to provide additional fire support on top. Here comes the first artillery, and we get some fireballs. 1 fireball, exactly. A mechanized infantry. Now he's exposed my headquarters as well as my infantry. That's not good. We moved up 1 hex, and the enemy drops his artillery. I was thinking about moving in here, but I'm glad I did. And the enemy drops his artillery into an empty hex. Here comes my artillery onto his mortars. He's in the open field. Let's hope we do some real damage to him. We get some fireballs. Yes, some good shooting here. 3 units down, but only 1 mortar. But he's now trying to escape to the north. The enemy brings his own artillery onto mine, and we're in resupply. So we are more exposed. We didn't take losses, luckily, very luckily. We can't seem to drive out his infantry unit. See the mortar here? The fire has auto-shifted to the mortar in the north. And we get more fireballs. But we've also rediscovered his infantry units coming down the road here. And we just can't kill him. Look at all that fire. Anti-tank guided missiles flying everywhere. And we finally get 1 fireball. But we've used up quite a bit of ammunition. We kill his armored personnel carrier and send it fleeing to the northeast. Here comes his infantry advancing down through the city hex. We can't seem to kill it. Because our order phase is we are inside the enemy decision cycle, so we get to issue another order before the enemy gets his chance. We exchange fire as we try to leave. The enemy smoke screen dissipates. Good. Now he'll be open along this path. Little infantry squad survivor, mechanized rifle squad survivor fires and kills an armored personnel carrier. My mechanized infantry platoon fires and kills a mechanized infantry squad. Mechanized rifle squad. The artillery arrives and nothing, no result of his infantry. The enemy flees to the southeast and runs right into a minefield, detonating one mine. But he's also able to look into this area now. We continue to exchange fire as we try to retreat. Second barrage of artillery arrives and destroys the surviving surface-to-air missile team. My units continue to fire, but it's significant to note these do not have the white dot of counter detection on them, so the enemy cannot see them, and hopefully he will not see as they try to run into this hex. Maybe he'll waste his artillery trying to pound this hex next turn. But it looks like he's got an enemy motorized. He's got reinforcements coming down the road. Another motorized rifle company and another tank company. 15 T-80s. Very bad news. He's following up, and I've pulled my units out of position, trying to avoid his artillery fire. Maybe that could have been a mistake, but at least he's trapped on a minefield here. Next turn, maybe we can destroy him with artillery.
Here we go. Let's clear these guys. Ooh, okay, so he's coming up here. Not sure if that's good or bad. You need to stop your move if you're moving. I got 25. I got my command time is low, because I need to call in some artillery on those guys. Well, call the artillery on my own guys, and it took them out. Stop your moving, buddy. So I'm gonna lose him. Ouch. Come on, gotta call in the big guns. See, this is just dinking around here because I wasn't sure where it was. So I took some lighter shots. Ouch. Because that guy can see him. That's what's killing me. One cav section there. Yeah, through the smoke up, it's probably not gonna. It doesn't make any difference against the American stuff. But it lets him. I want him to know I'm coming here, so it lets him know I'm coming here. Jeez. Come on, hang tight, buddy. Jeez, hang tight. Here, she's got a nice little line here, which means I need to. Come on. Here, and here. Wonder if he's actually going to retreat. There he goes. Okay, so here. Where are you going? Here and here. And he's going to go kapow. There we go. Here and here. Okay, now's the time to bring the scunion. Make him pay. So I had a pretty big miscalculation. He can, can you see these guys? He can see, yeah, he can see some of my reinforcements coming down because he's got one cavalry squad there. I thought when I'd given those guys orders, it was like an hour and a half ago, game time, maybe an hour ago probably, that I would have cleared that one guy out so that I could have brought my other battalion around here and hit Norderfurt from the Ost side, the Nordost. But he's going to see him. So whereas I wanted this battalion to come across and at least feint and fix him here while the other battalion came around here, that's not going to happen. So it's going to become a slugfest in here. He's got a decent line here, but I am bringing these guys across. But he knows they're coming because he had his guys here. So I caught a lot of artillery in on this turn, even though I don't see him. these guys aren't even shooting. Come on. It's just dying here. Yeah. Shooting blind. Oh, there we go. There we go. And I've got a couple batteries firing at that hex, so I'd love to knock this one last guy out. So these guys can get their final resupply in. I don't think anybody's there. I think he'd already fallen farther back. Oh! That's what I get for being wrong. That's a good wrong. It's a good wrong to me. And another one here. Come on. Take this guy out so that I can... All these guys here can finish resupplying and refitting and resting. Well, refitting 3927. That should be it. Okay.
Yes. Enemy infantry and tanks advance down the road, and they decide to sidestep the city and hit and go down the field instead. The artillery hits my retreating Bradleys and kills one of my infantry squads, I think, and also hits the tanks, killing one of my Abrams. For a shot in the dark, he does awfully well. More artillery lands, and he also hit the empty hex where I'd hoping he would hit, but now that my unit has vacated. The enemy's come up on the hill. He's hit my two positions here, and he's open, and he got lucky, killed a tank and a infantry unit, so we're trying to get out of here before he hits us again. His artillery also dropped on an empty hex here. My headquarters unit was keeping an eye on the right, early warning on the right flank. Unfortunately, the headquarters unit has no weapons. She's unarmed. So I've got no artillery with which to go after his unit in the open or his unit coming down through this field or road hex. So because my artillery's in resupply mode at the current time. So I'm going to move this mechanized infantry platoon up to try and shoot this unit off the wire. They're trapped on here like World War I on the wire in the minefields. Maybe we can punish him for it. Here we go. We open fire on the air defense team. Look at all these white dots of counter detection. He spotted all of us here. The anti-tank guided missile launchers kill one surface-to-air missile team. And the artillery falls, but no effect on our advancing unit. But the artillery does fall and kill off the infantry squad survivor. We have no eyes in the front now. His artillery manages to catch my unit as it tries to conduct resupply, but we escape without loss. Notice this, our artillery is attacking his off-map artillery with counter-battery fire. But the problem is, we should take a look. Notice that my artillery is in resupply. So what's shooting at him? Looks like another bug. So even though my artillery is supposedly in resupply, we can still shoot at the enemy. We continue to fire, and my tank opens fire and kills another surface-to-air missile launcher. We continue to reach out and missed again. We finally have the mechanized infantry platoon closest kill off the last surface-to-air missile team. His artillery drops into open hexes. But he's driven off I'll pause here for a moment, but his artillery strike here has caused my mechanized infantry platoon to run. He's in the middle of a resupply cycle, and he runs. Now we drop him to screen. So we have to start the resupply cycle all over again next time. And he's already at 48%, but no, the AI has replaced my good resupply decision with its lousy flight decision. He ran for no reason. I've got to start over again. So I continue to have to fight against my own AI. That's how stupid my AI is. But the rest of the artillery drops onto empty hexes. The headquarters evacuates, and we open fire on the unit in the open. Another, what is that? A unit appears on the edge of the hill, a self-propelled anti-tank unit. We engage with tanks, and we engage his from both ends with mechanized infantry. His tanks advance into the woods, into the city. We kill a self-propelled anti-tank on the just leaving the crest of the hill. The enemy wipes out my cavalry unit, squad survivor, and disappears from sight. The mechanized infantry kill another mechanized infantry squad on the wire, but they're really cheap. The tanks open fire and kill another self-propelled anti-tank unit. We finally wipe out the mechanized infantry squad in the open. We now have a second orders phase. Because we only have very short orders turns, see, the enemy has almost, let's say 50%, almost twice as long for his command cycle, so we can issue twice as many orders. We can issue a second set of orders. Since for my second orders phase, all my units here are already detected. Luckily, I think we've killed all the enemy observers, but now we've got to get the hell out of Dodge. Be anywhere but in one of these hexes from which we originally fired, because that's where the enemy artillery is going to be coming down. Same with my tanks and my infantry. I know he's got a tank unit or infantry unit here, but I'd rather advance in towards the enemy than just sit here and wait for the enemy to drop artillery onto my head. This is actually a nice thing that happened in 2.9. It got fixed. I'm advancing forward into the enemy, even though I know he's here waiting to pounce and blast me. However, I have my waypoint here. Normally, I would advance and arrive here within 3 or 4 minutes. Unfortunately, if I arrive early, then the enemy will have control of his unit, or be able to issue orders at 1740. If I arrive at 1740 or earlier, the enemy will be able to drop artillery on my new position. So I'm not really hiding anything. Instead, I've managed to put in a delay here and arrive at 1741. Hopefully the enemy doesn't come through here and pick me up because I'm exposed right now. But if it works out and I arrive here at 1741, it will be 1 minute after the enemy has already started to issue his orders, and that means he would be unable to call his artillery on me until it's too late. So I'm going to try to bring up my anti-tank. I know he's here. If I can bring some anti-tank into this forest, maybe we can fire across here. I'm also going to try to evacuate my infantry. He's run down his ammo, and I'm trying to get him out of here because the enemy saw me firing, wiping out his platoon, his company from the minefield. So now this is a prime target for artillery. Here we go. And still my artillery is not ready. Yeah. Oh, he's got something else on the top of the hill. We're going to pause it. Let's see. What is it? It looks like another air defense unit. Damn it. He's doing a really good job sacrificing his cheap air defense units and scouts and anti-tank units for my expensive Bradleys. To get an idea of what the enemy is doing to me, these are his little reconnaissance unit, but more importantly, here are it's 11 points. Oh, they're a little bit more. In version 2.10, these have increased. Normally they're only like 7 points. 6-point recoilless rifles and 7-point infantry units. See, these are all kind of cheap. And especially these. He's got a 4-point surface-to-air missile unit. So that was worth all of 12 points, whereas a single Bradley is worth 41 points. So the enemy is doing a very smart job pushing forward his sacrificial units in order to pin my expensive units. And a tank is worth 100 points. So 47 points, 100 points each. This is well worth it when he's only sacrificing 12 points. Good for him, bad for me.
Let's go, boys. Oh, there we go. Wow, okay, so they're a pretty strong strength there. There's like another company there, an M1 platoon. They got some tow ITVs, and then Yeah, 2 platoons of infantry. Come on, let's take out those Abrams. So I have targets. I just have to wait 22 minutes so I can bring my guys to bear on them. And it looks like I'm going to lose this guy. So he's pulling his armor forward because he sees these guys coming. Then I come over the hill here. We'll see what his reaction is. This is when oh, I'm going to lose this guy too. See that S there? Doesn't look like good things are going to happen this turn for me. Okay. But you know what? There are SA-14 Gremlin teams. They got their anti-air missiles. That's why I sent them forward, because they're pretty invaluable in this battle. I've seen no... Okay, here's another... Oh, so I'm going to lose him too. Why did these guys, quote, retreat out here? Okay, at least he's going to be eliminated, thank goodness. You like the Red Army is the strongest? So I'm going to belt out some Cossack songs. Yeah, see, he pulled his Abrams forward. There. I gotta pound these guys. 15 more minutes. If you can see him, you can kill him, right? There you go. Wow, look at that. It's like a 4,500 meter shot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. About a 4,000 meter shot. What I'd hoped he could do is, well, I was hoping he had not pushed his guys this far forward, and I could have snuck in to this little bit of the village here. But obviously, he's going to die right there. He goes. I made him expose himself, though. Like I said, those little AT4 Sager BRDM guys are pretty worthless. All right, time for some orders. Bring the Scunion. Excuse me, sorry. There you go. I'm actually probing some guys south of the river, assuming the bridge gets built pretty quickly. Ouch. So he moved forward there. That's not a bad thing, because I've got a lot of firepower about to move here with 2 infantry companies and a tank company. And here comes my big guns. I want to hear you see some secondaries. Boom! Nope. I think 4 of my 6 heavy artillery batteries, or medium to heavy artillery batteries, are firing. The other 2 are resupplying this turn. Really? Come on, people. Oh, these are my 122s. 2 of my 155s or 152s are resupplying this turn. Ooh, that's not good. This is the big stuff, and that's it on his armor, where I think his armor is. Unless his armor moved forward one more. Ooch. Ooch. Come on. Ooh, I did not see the minefield there. Ouch. Come on. I knew he's dug in there, but I got a lot of guys coming to shoot at him. They're calling a kill zone out in the open. No hits. Come on, people. I don't think I've gotten a hit this entire turn. Come on, here we go. Here we go. Secondaries. Boom! I think it's time to re-educate some artillery captains. No hits. No hits, people. No hits. Come on. Although these are the Abrams, they might have moved. Ouch. Kill zone. Don't you people know the proper reaction? Action on contact with an ambush.
My infantry launches an anti-tank guided missile and kills one of his mechanized infantry squads. Here comes that Arty. We got out of here just in time, and the enemy has no one to spot his fall of shot. Here comes another Arty shot. Got my fingers crossed. Maybe he'll miss, and another Arty shot misses. There's no better feeling than seeing an artillery shell actually miss you. And we fire twice and kill 2 more. He's trying to move. He's trying to move to the southeast. We kill an armored personnel carrier and the carrier. And the passenger. They fire and kill another. He's got them loaded up on the minefields. He's trying to come through. We fire again, but we're surrounded by 2 full companies of motorized rifle troops. He outguns us almost 4 to 1. No, that's probably 20, maybe 20, 30 units here. So probably 4 to 1. He's outgunning us. More artillery falls on our empty spaces. With a little luck, maybe my counter battery will kill some of his guns, but I don't bank on it. My enemy, another one blows up in the minefield. My enemy sent me an email saying that he lamented the lack of NATO explosions. He's going to freak when he sees this on the video. What happened? Here's my situation. The enemy is coming down here. He's trapped in the minefield. I'm going after him here with the artillery. Mind you, there's another enemy anti-tank or air defense section up on the hill, and he can pretty much see, let's say, all this area. And if he has slightly better sensors, he might even see right into my units here, tanks, right into these units. But let's hope that he has just regular infantry sensors and maybe only sees this far. So my units in the tree within 1 hex back are probably hidden, hopefully hidden. Now, I think this unit, I would like to drop it into resupply, but he's already at 88%, and I'm going to need every bullet when he comes over that hill. Unfortunately, I'd like to drop this unit into resupply as well, because he's at 91%. Right now, he's just riding out the storm in the middle of a field, and I think he's bombed it twice. He'll probably bomb it at least 1 more time before coming over the hill. I'll mention the command cycles. See, right now, notice it's my next command cycle is 15 minutes, and the next one estimated after that is again 15 minutes. Here's the problem I alluded to earlier when we were at this point. Because it's a 15. Let's say this is a 15-minute supply cycle. If I drop into resupply, I will spend 30 minutes under resupply, and if it comes out at this point, I'll have the resupply cycle will not end. So I will have to add another 15, 16, however many minutes afterwards, just sitting here doing nothing. So 15 is probably not a very good command length or time length for a command cycle. Best to have it at 16. 2 16s would make it 32, and I would have my unit back with only a 2-minute penalty. But now I'm going to have to sit here an extra minute, and I'm wondering if I should drop it into resupply, because when the Indians come over the hill, and if they've already sent 1 reconnaissance unit and another reconnaissance or air defense unit to conduct reconnaissance, if he comes over the hill and he catches me in a resupply situation, then this is a version 10 problem. Most likely this unit will start running because the enemy combat binoculars. This is because if he's spotted by the enemy, they will in a resupply evolution, he'll try to run. And this is I'll make sure you understand, this is the version 10 problem. This was not the problem in version 8. In version 8, if he was in resupply, unless he was taking serious damage, he was being hit by the enemy, he wouldn't run. He would just finish off his supply cycle, which is what should be happening. Now, if the enemy so much as spots him, he's more than likely going to run. So we're back to the dilemma in version 10. This is the version, version 10 problem. This was also a version, I think, 4 and 5 problem, but they decided to go back to these problems rather than leave it at version 8. In version 4 and 5, they also had this problem where we had the combat binoculars would force units to run for their lives. So instead of me ordering my unit to do what I wanted to do. I have to make a choice here. How do I keep the AI from committing suicide? At this point, I'm going to choose the do nothing. I'm going to let the artillery bomb for the next 15 minutes, and hopefully he doesn't shift onto one of these other hexes or catch me here. I'm going to force my infantry unit up to try to block this motorized rifle company coming through. And I've tried to time it so that he arrives. Notice our next command cycle, the enemy command cycle, is going to take effect 27 minutes. 9 minutes have elapsed. So it's going to, the enemy will take command at 18:07. So I've tried to time my arrival at 18:08. This means that the enemy will issue his orders at 18:07, and hopefully he won't have spotted my unit here yet. And when he arrives here at 18:08, the enemy will be unable to respond for another 28 minutes. These are the things I think a human player needs to take into consideration when he's fighting a good human opponent. Here we go. We exchange more anti-tank guided missile fire, and we hammer his infantry in the open on the minefield. More artillery drops onto an empty hex, the highway of death. Boy, these animations are sure slow. And we've got our game functions at maximum. No delay. Yet the game functions, the animations are deathly slow. No losses from the enemy. He has not decided to hit my infantry in the city hex. We fire again and kill another armored personnel carrier. And we slug it out with the enemy infantry to the north. Here comes my Arty. We rip into it. He's trying to keep moving south. So you notice the little red arrow. So he's still in motion. He's still exposed. Now we've destroyed enough of his armored personnel carriers. He's on foot. The L denotes leg mobility. And we get several secondary explosions here. Lots of fireballs in the middle of a field. But he's got lots of units to soak it up. Look at him, slowly taking that down. He's got 13, 20. Holy cow. We got 2, 6. We fire again. And get the SAM missile launcher. Enemy artillery, or our artillery displaces to avoid enemy counter battery. The anti-tank guided missile launchers come into the woods. We theoretically could shoot at him. I don't know if we will. Hopefully we don't expose ourselves to unnecessary losses. We kill 2 more armored personnel carriers, and we fire to the front. More artillery arrives on the enemy infantry. Several more explosions. Fingers crossed. Will we wipe him out? No. 4 more armored personnel carriers and an infantry company destroyed. Here come a tank company down the road. We fire to the front and kill an enemy armored personnel carrier, I hope. Yes. And we fire to the east. Uh-oh, he's crossed. He's making a combat crossing. He's coming the other direction. Nicely done. He has armored personnel carriers fire and kill one of my heavy machine gun squad. We fire. He's got another infantry company on here. Is it an infantry company or a tank company coming up to support? My final artillery barrage goes in. Let's kill it. I hope we wipe it out. No! But we fire again from the infantry. Come on, we need a few more hits to wipe him out. And then the right flank. Oh, we did wipe it out. He's safe. But another. Let's pause this for a moment. Let's see what he's got. He's got an air defense team coming up to draw fire from us. And what's here? This is a motorized rifle company. So he's come around the backside to over the river. We can't see what he sees right here. So my scout unit here has been kind of wasted. Didn't see anything. They committed suicide. Otherwise, they'd be bringing fire onto this unit. But of course, the carriers were destroyed by my stupid AI. We fire again, kill another armored personnel carrier in the north, and one of his advancing infantry squads. We fire again, and another motorized rifle company suffers. Our mechanized rifle squad is destroyed. Here comes the tank! Oh, we fire counter battery on something. Or maybe it's just... See, that's not even counter battery. That could just be the AI using my artillery for whatever it likes. The fire support control center is off, but the AI ignores us. Here's my second turn, and I'll make sure everyone sees this. My fire support control center is off, and it's ignored by the AI. All right, here is the situation. He's got an artillery spotter, it looks like, acting forward observer up here, so we can't. His pair of binoculars are quite effective, and he can see into the valley. But he's also forced at least a motorized rifle company, here's one, and a tank company coming up on this hill. He hasn't been counter detected yet, but my cavalry scouts are going to get hit next turn. So I've dropped the artillery. I'm gambling. I'm putting all 3 salvos in front of him. Hopefully he'll run on here and we'll hammer him in open ground. At 20% cover, I'm hoping for some severe damage. The tanks are worth the most, so I've got to try and kill them the bestest. If he moves or doesn't move, I think he'll be in here next turn, simply because his arrow was indicated last turn and he's still in motion, so he should be able to arrive here. Even if he should move past us, I'm hoping that the automatic shift function of the artillery for NATO is pretty good. If he moves into one of these hexes here, or here, or even here, the artillery should be able to shift one hex. It's been pretty reliable. Not guaranteed, but pretty reliable. As we saw up here, when the artillery hit this hex and then shifted upwards to destroy units in this hex after they had left this hex. Now, since he's trying to avoid the minefield here, the blockading units, he's unlikely to send more units. We've destroyed 2 of them up here. I don't think he'll send another one through here unless it's to draw fire and pin us. So I'm going to pull back to this. I'm pulling back my mechanized infantry to this hex so we can bring these hexes under fire. He looks like he's going to try for an end run coming through here, down, and possibly through this or into the valley. This is a very smart move on my opponent's part. He's using connected cover all the way through, so I can't catch him in the open. But he's got to cross the open, and he got caught in the open here. Hopefully we'll punish him for it. But I've got nothing defending, very little defending on this side of the river. He'll probably take this 2,000 point easily, and I'm redeploying some of my infantry and headquarters units all through here, trying to provide some modicum of protection along the river. So I don't think he'll come all the way past here and to the open ground in the south, but he might try to make an approach here and try to cross at a less defended spot. So I'm trying to bring all this area on the other side of the river at least under observation so that we can try to bring it under fire. My anti-tank section here is unfortunate because he's just 2 minutes away from resupply, so I've got to wait not just 2 minutes, I've got to wait the full 15. So I'm penalized for sitting here waiting for 13 additional minutes and not being able to do anything. My mechanized infantry platoon is going to die where they stand, hopefully, if they don't run away first. The plug in the hole, the enemy has discovered two of my minefields and paid heavily for it. He can't know how far east the minefield barriers extend, so I'm hoping that he's given up trying to flank us, and I can pull back this infantry unit to help defend along the river or along this roadway. Here we go. Here comes that. It disappeared into the dead ground. My mechanized infantry platoon fires again and kills a headquarters unit. Oh, he's come right up here. He's come right up on my cavalry unit. We fire again and kill one of his surface-to-air missile teams as my infantry tries to redeploy. Because we've blown the bridges, we don't have any way to cross the river.
Okay, let's see if we can crack this nut. I'm not calling. Jeez, he's gonna lose that whole guy this turn. He's calling an artillery on him. That's not good. Okay, got a bridge built there. I'm gonna sneak my guys around there. Well, I keep hitting him with artillery, or at least shooting at him with artillery, not necessarily hitting. Really, lose that whole company. You guys should be able to clear him out there then. He's not moving. Oh, come on. Here comes the artillery. RF map artillery. See, the minefield what's getting me. Jeez. I know what's gonna happen. I don't know why I'm complaining right now. But I should be shooting back. Right there. Well, they're shooting back, they're not hitting. До свидания. Come on. There we go, finally. The guy that's farthest, well, farther away. And this should be it for you. I don't know. Sorry, not a lot to say right now. I'm just kind of watching the little bit about. Look at that. Come on. Watch out. Okay, my guys are across the river down there. Can I make that work? Have I fooled him or not? I really should show my face up here again, just so he knows I'm here. He doesn't think I'm sneaking around him. You guys stink. Commander blaming a soldier. You like that? We kind of barely missed the beginning. Here we go. Oh, come on. Don't have my tanks in the open, guys. One bad, two worse, three worster. There we go. Took him out. There we go. Took out a Bradley. Close and destroy. There we go. Close and destroy. Whew. Glad they moved. So the question now becomes, okay, he pulled his ITV up tight. Wow. You guys are pretty squishy. Dropping some mines on him in case he's trying to redeploy this way. I'm not sure. If he has a bridge, he might have a bridge built there if he's smart. But I'm expecting him to try to redeploy south of the river. And the reason I dropped smoke there, well, there's a reason. Bringing firepower on this guy. There we go. Take these guys out. These guys are dangerous to my tanks, but they close. They're at 1,000 meters. That's pretty bad. They have I think tows 3750 meters. Those are good standoff targets. Close range, they're gonna get. Well, they're still gonna take two out. Let's get out. Don't like the fact that a little bit of his company escaped. And now we're shooting at nothing. Yep, laying down the smoke. Laying down the smoke. There we go. There we go. Sing it, brother. Come on, let's do that again. Let's do it again. like I've said before, his low density, the American low density units, you take out a few guys and it makes a big impact on them. Your big lumbering Russian tank companies with 13 tanks, you take out 3, that's still pretty powerful. I didn't think I had 3 salvos coming on him. Come on, boys. My 152s are doing a lot better than the 122. I think this is blind shooting, just wondering where he is back there. Like all the craters there? There's been a lot of artillery fire. A lot of artillery fire. Ooh, he's shooting at me? Ouch. 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 Usually he counters me earlier in the game. At this point it's less effective because we're down to 241, running out of time.
It looks like the enemy is going to wipe out my scout unit this turn. The artillery catches them in the open field. We're rewarded with a few fireballs. Finally, we've detected only three, damn it. And his approaching infantry open fire with anti-tank guided missiles. He wipes out my reconnaissance unit and takes out another Bradley. What are these? Let's take a look and see what these are coming across the valley. They have an armored personnel carrier, motorized rifle, 2 motorized rifle companies, and they're hell-bent for leather coming down across the bridge. A second artillery barrage catches the tanks. Nothing! Ah, crap. He brings his own artillery onto us and a tank company as well. He throws a mine into the roadway, trying to cut us off. And what else is out here? He's throwing another smoke screen up. He's trying to block the view. He wipes out my anti-tank section. Looks like you can see by the little S symbol in the mobility. Brings more artillery onto my infantry. The grenade launching squad is wiped out. More artillery hits us. Dragon dies. We do get... No. We take it, we don't dish it out. And the first anti-tank launcher dies. Just getting creamed by his tank unit. We're sitting here waiting in ambush. He comes up and still blasts the living hell out of us. Nice job. The infantry tries to flee for their lives. Two Bradleys and a mechanized rifle squad are destroyed. We fire back. Get 1 tank from the two from the anti-tank section. Still a pretty expensive exchange. Our final barrage goes in. I don't think we got his tank. Nope, no secondary explosions here. His artillery misses us finally. Looks like another smoke screen coming up, so he's coming down. He's coming down the road. It's a good thing we left a couple of units here. And he's guessed rightly after seeing. I don't know if he saw us and called in new missions, but he hits us as we're sitting here, even though we're in hold position, trying to. Well, we're not dug in, but we aren't moving. Should be our best defensive option. We still get crushed. And he's hitting blank areas again. Here comes the tanks, the motorized rifle, and his tanks fire one more time, wiping out my anti-tank unit. So many threats, I just don't know which to deal with first. More artillery hits my mechanized infantry. and on the empty highway. His motorized rifle disappear. My artillery automatically counterfires without my consent, but we do manage to get a few fireballs. What are we hitting? Probably a headquarters unit, which we don't care. Lots of fireballs, secondary explosions, which is wonderful, but if it's a headquarters unit, I don't know what we hit here. No reports. Checking, there's nothing in the log as to what was hit in the north there. We see that artillery did land. It does say that artillery 3704, so it looks like we counter battery possibly on the enemy. There it is. Yeah, 3704. So we hit a number of his artillery units, which is respectable. Unfortunately, it's driven my fire support. I run out of run it low on ammo, and into resupply. I think I would have been better off hitting the tanks here, because they're worth a heck of a lot more than the enemy artillery. Even though the enemy artillery is doing quite a bit of damage on me, I need to wipe out the tanks in order to win, and the tank company here and the tank company here. So the AI has once again replaced my tactical decisions with its poor logic. There's not much to do here. He's hit my infantry and damaged him on the roadway, so I think he'll probably be calling more upon us since he saw the secondary explosions. We're going to try to move him up into this hex and defend against this one. I'm really curious if I should continue building the bridge, because all I'm doing is really offering the enemy a highway directly into the victory point location. However, thinking of that, he's also put at least 2 companies, possibly 3 companies of infantry. That's a full battalion of infantry across here already, along with a tank company. So whether or not I give him a bridge across, I think he's already made his own bridge into this sector, and we've lost track of him. So I'm going to rush my anti-tank unit across. The other anti-tank unit didn't last very long in the face of enemy opposition. I think he got 2 tanks before they were destroyed, so we didn't even break even on that exchange. I'll continue to hold my Abrams back, just waiting to see what appears on the north, or if I have to go south to fight against the enemy tank company. I suspect it's to go south. And my mechanized infantry platoon has just resupplied. I'm going to use him as the fire brigade. Once we determine where the enemy is coming across the river, he'll try to plug it and hold him. We've held him for 4 hours. We need to hold him for another 2.5. With the enemy tank that has just exterminated or pushed back my mechanized infantry, he could be coming any direction this way. So I've got to keep my mechanized infantry here to guard against an envelopment. Here we go. Oh, there he shows up, and he immediately starts launching anti-tank guided missiles at us. There comes his infantry. I think this is an anti-tank team, perhaps. Yes. No, an air defense team. The air defense team actually fires better than his motorized rifle company and wipes out my launcher. We get up on the hill, and we can now bring fire upon this location.
We're down to 2 hours left. Come on, let's take these guys out. Okay, so he's got long shots on me. He's moving forward. Interesting. Interesting. Did I get around him? I may have. That was quick. Wow. About to start 1 minute of action, so don't blink. Blink.
We can see from the little red triangle in the corner, the enemy is preparing to advance to the northeast. Unfortunately, my artillery, it did get some hits on the enemy artillery, which is good. But this is kind of a juicier target, I think. We have 2 motorized rifle companies sitting on top each other. That's just a beautiful target. Unfortunately, the only help I can seem to send them is a damaged cavalry section. Don't know how much help it's going to be. We still have to hold on for 2.5 hours. Seems like a lifetime. My other units are kind of pinned. We don't have much to move. All we can do is sit in place and hope to bring fire upon the enemy as he comes through. I have very little in the ways to stop him. My anti-tank launchers think this will be the killing ground right about here if he comes down. But I thought he would have come around the south end. At least it had some more cover. But he's going to come. Well, it's dead space. This is dead space. But he's got to come out of it somewhere around here. So let's hope we can make him pay. One smoke screen dissipates. I still don't know what's coming from the northwest. There he goes into the deadfall. Oh, somebody's run into a mine here. Looks like, I think that was the tank unit that was just north of us here. We have 3 fireballs. 4. Mines are doing far better than my Bradleys ever did. He continues to drop artillery on the roadway. And he catches my tank. Is it a lucky guess? Or has he got a spotter? So we don't. I think he's just shelling on general principles. Drops one into the roadway and misses. Here he comes. Everybody takes a piece of him, but not only one actually gets a hit. We've revealed ourselves, unfortunately. The Bradleys in the city managed to kill 2 armored personnel carriers and their passengers. The anti-tank section opens up. Can we kill them fast enough? 4 more armored personnel carriers and their attendant passengers. Even the distant mechanized platoon opens fire. We're getting some, but at such a high cost. We're revealing ourselves. The enemy has advanced onto my mechanized infantry survivors. He's going on an assault mode, so I think he's more exposed. At least we'll be able to kill a few more of them. And he's packed up on the mines with his infantry as well. I kill another armored personnel carrier and headquarters squad, but he starts firing back, killing one of my the armored personnel carrier with the command, I guess. He's still dropping artillery in general areas. Oh, does he? I have to wonder if he's seen it or not. The cavalry fires on the move, gets nothing, but the anti-tank launchers fire again. Maybe they'll be able to use up all their ammo before they're destroyed. More fireballs on the hill. These are cheap fireballs. 1 air defense, and an armored personnel carrier, and an anti-tank section. The Bradleys fire again. 2 more armored personnel carriers and passengers. On the roadway, the Bradleys open up. Well, we've exposed everything. He's drawn the fire using his, relatively cheap infantry. 2 more armored personnel carriers. And 1 more. He's still in range. The anti-tank section opens up again. We need to be killing tanks. Not... Ah, there come the tanks! My anti-tank section might just have a chance to kill a few before it dies. The motorized rifle company advancing overrun is caught by my headquarters section of tanks. We continue to attack the useless infantry. They sure are juicy targets, but it's the tanks we need to kill. We kill another armored personnel carrier and passengers from the motorized rifle company. Here comes a second company of tanks behind it. He continues to drop on the empty highway, but he catches my headquarters unit in the east. We're dug in, so he's just shelling everything. At least imagine all the power he could have had if he could concentrate. We're at encounter battery. Did we kill anything? Who knows? My troops in overrun barely get any ammo, and the armored personnel carriers fire and kill one of my tanks from the headquarters section. The anti-tank section fires again, destroying another armored personnel carrier. He's in the city, and it's raining just to cover him. The tanks finally open up and decide to kill his tanks on the hill. But because of their stupidity, their insistence on hitting infantry, now they die from the tanks. One launcher is down. The cavalry open up. Even though they're overrun, the infantry fights back and kills an armored personnel carrier and passengers. The headquarters section returns fire, destroying a measly mechanized rifle squad. Headquarters is located, but we have nothing with which to go after it. Hopefully I don't waste artillery on it. My anti-tank launchers fire and kill a tank. This is worthwhile. I have a second turn. I'm going to pull the infantry out. We have a couple hours to go. The current situation is we have him at almost about 45% casualties. He's still got lots coming here. 2 tank companies and the survivor, most of a tank company here, plus 2 infantry companies coming down, and most of an infantry company. Well, we've slaughtered lots of them, but there's still enough. Now the infantry up here, we've been hitting him from here, and he's been dropping artillery into the empty areas. Now we're kind of exercising the option of be anywhere but here. We're moving just to get the hell out of here. I don't know I'm exposed coming across this open field, but it's better than waiting for his artillery to smash us flat. But my units in the east are committed and unable to disengage. I may have to try to pull out this infantry unit, but so long as there's a possibility that he might come down. It looks like he's trying to drive for the road. But until it's committed, we can't pull out because he could have an easy route down the east side. Still no artillery support. Here we go. The tank headquarters section fights hard and kills another armored personnel carrier and passengers. The anti-tank section fires away. Nothing. We continue to aim for the tanks at least. Oh, the anti-tank section is run out of ammunition. She's dead meat. The headquarters fight again. Fire again. Killing 2 more armored personnel carriers. Doing a good job. They fire again. Now it's looks like an air defense survivor. Another armored personnel carrier. He's coming right down the road. He's driven off the anti-tank section. They've done their headless chicken routine. Now that he's nice and exposed, of course the enemy decides to blast away. Very well done, AI. I couldn't have done any better myself. I was doing better myself until the AI overrode my decision. So I ran out here so that I could die in an open field. Makes it easier, I guess, digging the graves. There goes my off-map artillery firing in without my permission. Looks like something else is coming down the road. Is this another motorized rifle company? An anti-tank section, looks like. The tanks are bypassing my cavalry. Maybe we can take a few of them on the way through. He's captured his first victory point location, and he immediately starts blasting the cavalry. Destroying a Bradley. We got no shot. Even though we knew he was coming and should have surprised him with a flank shot, it didn't happen. The enemy wipes out the fragment of my mechanized infantry platoon. My other infantry platoon fights hard and takes out another armored personnel carrier. The tanks open fire. It's an anti-tank section, so it's worthwhile killing. Just squads, but they're anti-tank recoilless rifles and anti-tank guided missiles.
26 minutes to watch now. My opponent probably got a couple turns. I'm over the hill here. Haven't gotten shot at. That's a good thing. I'm getting hit in the open. Come on. I think that's mines. And I'm shooting kind of blind. Oh yeah, I sent pretty much all my artillery batteries this turn on some blind missions, just hoping to find where he is, because he's melted back into the village. But I found him there. But since I'm assaulting, okay, they're getting shot. Oh, there we go, getting shot from there. Okay. Lots of losses. You know, I was forced to take a. Ouch, this is bad. Okay, that's. I was forced to take because of time. I'm running out of time, and I got to get 5,000. I don't see how any way I can get there. So basically, just sent this whole battalion here on a big attack over the hill. Not the best way to do it, but you know, the tyranny of time. So that plus means it's a mixed unit, which means it's probably his headquarters platoon. It's probably 1 or 2 M1s and a couple Bradleys, M113s, and jeez, come on. Okay, I like that SR. That means he's going to be gone soon enough. Really, come on. Getting pounded. You know, that's like M25 might fire at 4,000 meters. Come on. And my armor's too slow over the top, or they can be given supporting fire. Come on. Come on. And that's 2 companies basically wiped out there. And here's my blind shooting. There we go. Take out the Abrams. Oh, come on. There we go. Come on, somebody do something. It's alright, I'm quiet. Just kind of watching. Oh, I've got one other company that I did not give orders to. That's a bad thing. Alright, you know, and actually I did that on purpose. That was my reserve that I was saving to exploit his weaknesses, right? That sounds good. That was a genius move, really. And he's shooting at me, but it looks like I shooted and scooted. Here we go, look at this. Come on. There we go. You know, maybe this will be a work after all. He can't, I don't know what armor he has left, but he's going to have a hard time. I say this and I'm going to die. He's going to have a hard time ejecting that armor. And he himself blew that bridge there. So, you know, he kind of shot himself in the foot and limited his ability to maneuver, although he may not have, he may have built his own bridges there. I don't think so. I watch another whole minute of my orders, down to 2 hours in the battle. And that's just all list.
My artillery has come back into battery. Excellent. We're going to bring it all on top of this minefield because because the minefield has not yet been cleared, and we know that there's a motorized rifle company and tank company sitting on top of it trying to clear it. So hopefully we'll kill something important this turn. I'm going to also bring your attention to this headquarters unit. Last turn we had ordered it to move over here. However, it hasn't moved an inch. Now, in case some folks might not know this, but I think that because the headquarters doesn't have any subordinates underneath, it has a problem moving towards the enemy. So one of the things we can try is to move, let's say, resubordinate one of these under the headquarters section, and that way it will move forward. My tank opens fire on the anti-tank unit at the crest of the hill, killing 2 of the anti-tank squads, and I think we've wiped it out. The headquarters disappears behind into dead ground. Artillery lands on my mechanized infantry platoon, as well as my cavalry platoon, cavalry section survivors. Immediately, the Bradley is wiped out. He drops a minefield onto my mechanized infantry platoon. And smoke onto my scout squad survivors. That's odd why he would try to smoke it. Even with the lousy weather, I'll probably be able to see through it anyway. More artillery arrives on my scouts. Artillery arrives on my headquarters platoon. He's really bringing it onto the scouts. I don't think he's trying an end run around the south, so I can bring my units back in to try to make the fight along the river. My artillery arrives over his 2 trapped units in the minefield. Let's hope for luck. And nothing. More artillery arrives over my mechanized infantry. Notice there's no minefield symbol icon here because this is a bug that was reported in version 2.09 and subsequently ignored by the developers. See, even though there's a minefield there, it'll show up after we clear it, but you can't see the minefield, even though it's dropped right on top of us. He brings artillery onto my headquarters section survivors and smoke. He's obviously trying to cover his move through the south. More artillery onto the mechanized infantry platoon. No result. And the cavalry takes another barrage. More artillery lands on the minefield. It's now been cleared, but hopefully he has not yet left the hex. Getting plenty of secondary explosions. Let's make it pay. We can't seem to shoot off his infantry survivors. More artillery lands on the mechanized infantry platoon caught on the highway. As well as the scout platoon, scout survivor. He brings the smoke. Looks like he's trying, yeah, but we still see him up here. His headquarters unit, pretty major headquarters, plus 2 utility. He continues to hit us, but I don't think we're detected. So is he trying to hide from us or hide us from him? My artillery fires counter battery. That's nice. But notice, I still get 3 missions here. That's just so wonderful, isn't it? With the Mandatory Fire Support Control Center, we get to fire our 3 missions, and we get to fire counter battery. Bonus! Bonus! That's a cheat, if I ever saw one. But that's the way the developers want their game, I guess. The Bradleys fire on the headquarters as they pass through, killing 1 headquarters, 1 HQ, and a truck. Oh, looks like the enemy has decided to come down the east side. I'm glad I've left the mechanized infantry platoon here to engage. They fire and destroy an armored personnel carrier and surface-to-air missile team right off. We fire again. We have them surprised. Hopefully we will get, it doesn't really matter with flank, with our infantry, but the infantry overcomes its surprise quickly, fires back, and kills one of my infantry squads. Here come the tanks, and the other reserve motorized rifle company. Alright, I've dropped my mechanized platoon into resupply. His readiness is really low and morale is also pretty much shot from all the artillery. I'm really hoping that the enemy, I've given away no telltale signs that there is a unit here, no explosions, and he shouldn't be able to see me into the smoke, I'm hoping. So I hope my plan is if the enemy has stopped blasting us with artillery, maybe we can sneak in a resupply cycle. We desperately need it. Going to try to pull my tank out. He's at 50% ammo. I'm going to sacrifice the headquarters unit and possibly this mechanized infantry unit as stay behinds to draw the enemy fire and as a stopgap. We're bringing the artillery onto this group, just trying to smash his T-80s stacked up with mechanized infantry. The mechanized infantry troop gets in close and engages the tanks, but they're probably close to dug in on this position. The enemy overruns. We managed to kill one. Oh, he's coming with everything. He's coming with both tanks and motorized rifle. The headquarters gets into the act and engages to destroy an enemy T-80 tank. 2. Great shooting. Even a third. I guess when you're in close quarters, the flank and top cover, we have a chance of hitting top cover. Enemy tanks engage my mechanized platoon and kill. Oh, our losses are severe. I didn't even see what we lost here. The enemy tries to bypass and kills part of my mechanized my headquarters unit. Wipes it out. Uh-oh, maybe this one's not going to get out of here after all. Can we hold? The enemy engages closely and gets where just as we are vulnerable too. And he kills one of my Bradleys. The tanks pull out successfully, but the artillery lands in an empty hex. Well, the enemy's paid the price to get in close with a knife fight. He's neutralized my artillery, but he's paying heavy losses. We kill another armored personnel carrier and exchange fire in the south with the tank company. We're at 50% losses. The enemy smoke screen dissipates. We're still alive. And we shoot it out with the mechanized motorized rifle coming down the road. We kill an armored personnel carrier, dismounting the unit. What a waste of artillery. What a shame. Well, this is what happens when you play a good enemy. He does good things. He is electronic death. Oh, we're displacing to avoid counter battery. Good. What a shame to lose units firing a worthless mission. And we don't really want them to bring the artillery shifted back onto our own position either, because we'll be taking losses from our own artillery, and I'd rather not do that. My last barrage goes in. The tanks escape. Hopefully we'll have 30 minutes to conduct resupply to get them back into the fight. A second smoke screen dissipates. What's he got here? Oh, his headquarters coming up. So my headquarters has survived the ordeal. Quite surprising. But he's now spotlighted by the enemy infantry squad. Not long before, I'm sure that the enemy is going to bring his artillery all concentrated right on top of my Abrams platoon, because it's been pinpointed by this lousy little infantry squad. It looks like the enemy is bringing the surviving remnants of a motorized rifle company down the road and another, I think, the motorized rifle company here. Now the real problem is if the AI is going to do something stupid and force my tanks to run away from the enemy infantry on the other side of the river or coming down this road. This is what happens in version 2.10. The AI continues to replace my good decisions to resupply with its crappy flight decisions.
Okay, here we go. Oh, losing my anti-tank guys. Not a huge deal, but you know what? Every loss matters, right? Every Soviet life matters. Is that what they say? Pound these guys up with this. There we go. There we go. Dropping some mines there in case he tries to move out. I'm not sure if he's going to try to move and meet my. I hope I dropped smoke there. Or maybe he did. Boom, Schlaglock. I like that S. So I'm running out of time in this battle, and I see a lot of points that are still a long way away. That's a bad spot to get hit. Okay, not as bad as it is. Not a lot. Armor. Still hitting that one spot. I saw him there earlier. Did I really drop smoke? Or is he doing that again? I know I've got different theme music this turn. Some Minecraft music for those of you who have kids that live and die by Minecraft. Ooh, come on. Quit hitting these guys. Oh. 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 Still pounding my spot. It's one of the problems with playing by email, and I'm only get the games every day or two. I forget the exact location of his stuff, and you know, I could go back and look at the videos. But by the time I get the kids down and take care of life, I gotta squeeze in a turn. I really should spend an extra 5 minutes preparing. Come on, guys, move out of the kill zone. Jeez Louise. Ouch. Ouch. Okay. I moved out of the kill zone right next to more guys. Here we go. Come on. Knock them out. Come on, guys. Close the range. If I can take him out. I mean, see that nice squishy headquarters unit back there? That's what I gotta get to. I hit his armor in the rear. There we go. I don't think I have any more mines left, but I can hit this road right here. Okay, he's finally shooting where I'm not anymore. That's finally nice. So these guys to hold their position. He's holding on some artillery on the infantry. Orders time. Watch 1 exciting minute of probably nothing. Oh, that was not the nothing I wanted. That was a bad thing.
The mechanized infantry fires and destroys an infantry's fire, and another one comes down. A headquarters comes down over the hill. That's quite lucky, actually. It's a low percentage shot, but we managed to shoot through the city and destroy the infantry squad. Here are my orders. I'm trying to give commands to my artillery, and it's already selected a target, 1928. Artillery. Looks like it's trying to fire on a headquarters or probably the artillery that had fled from this hex after being hit. That's great, isn't it? Problem is, we have no fire support. It's turned off. Just a reminder, the FSCC AI takes your artillery, takes control of your artillery, whether you like it or not. That's probably a good target out there, but I need this one hit. This is the tanks in my chili right here. So at least I'm able to intercept this one in time before it wastes my ammunition on an artillery in the north. I'm going to try to hammer this tank 3 times. Other orders, I'm going to try to get this headquarters in close, trying to engage. I think this is an infantry unit, but this infantry unit is really a snag because it's holding back my tank from getting resupply. So I'm trying to pull the tank away from the enemy and get him far. If he is in close proximity to the enemy, he cannot get full resupply cycle. Also, he's going to take off like a headless chicken when he tries to resupply because, oh, the enemy sees me. Combat binoculars, he sees me. I have to run. Idea. So I'm trying to pull him out 2 hexes, but I'm hoping that he's here. If I get him here, that he won't be running around, especially running into the minefield. That's the worst thing in the world. But that's what the headless chicken dances are. It's about the AI taking over my good decisions with its poor decisions. Let's see if it does. The motorized rifle, mechanized infantry engages motorized rifle and kills one of his anti-tank squads. And I think another one just ran onto a minefield here. We continue to slug it out in close combat. My mechanized infantry engages the tanks and kills one T-80. We need everyone dead. Oh, great shooting. In close quarters, we get another one. At range of 1 or 500 meters, the infantry can be quite deadly because they get bonuses such as the ability to attack the flank or weaker areas of a tank. Artillery drops on my tank. We have to get out of here before we get smashed. And artillery drops on my mechanized infantry platoon. My tank is in exposed posture, covered posture, but my mechanized infantry is dug in, so we actually have a chance, as all my other art units are also dug in deeply. He's bringing that heavy artillery. We're out of contact with him, but I'm not sure it's far enough away. Hopefully I can try to sneak in one because his infantry has stopped moving. If he continues to move and spots in this hex, he'll force him to start running again to complete his resupply cycle. I can only hope that the weather gets even worse right now. If it drops down to 500 meters, that's fine because we're already in close contact with everyone, with all my attackers right here. It won't matter if I won't be losing contact with the headquarters unit. I could not care less. More artillery lands on the mechanized infantry platoon. We take it without loss, but our morale and our readiness drop lower. He hits the headquarters unit. He's trying to avoid killing his own mechanized infantry, which is right. But we're engaged in a melee here, and we fire again on his advancing motorized rifle company. We drop our last artillery barrage onto the tank. No luck. The mechanized infantry fires again and destroys another it's an anti-tank platoon, so we destroyed another anti-tank squad and another anti-tank missile grenade squad, RPG squad. Fingers crossed. That's a big unit to be running around. Well, no, he's bringing lots of his artillery onto an empty hex and my mechanized infantry. Hang on, boys, hang on. We are 83 minutes away from victory. He pounds us in the... Oh, and he kills one of my mechanized infantry squads. Oh, two. That artillery is just too much. Even though they're dug in, they still get creamed. And my troops being overrun, we lose a Bradley. Darn it. Big firepower there. We bring the last is it artillery? Or is it his own artillery? And a headquarters squad comes to reinforce, but he takes out another one of my mechanized infantry. He comes in close and the headquarters reaches him. I'm foolhardy. Of course the headquarters section doesn't move ahead because it doesn't have any subordinates behind it. We'll try that again. Well, my artillery is already out of ammunition and trying to resupply. We'll try to get the headquarters in close to engage, and of course my infantry platoons here, which I've been trying to hold in surprise, managed to engage the headquarters. Now we've revealed ourselves. At least we're not counter detected. There's no white dot of counter detection, but we have revealed ourselves, our presence, by opening fire on the enemy. So I'm going to try and pull them out and wait for him to actually get in nice and close. This way I will have a full infantry platoon ready to engage rather than a decimated infantry platoon standing watch on the river as he pounds me with artillery. So once he gets in trying to make that crossing, I'm going to have to sacrifice the headquarters, my headquarters. That's me in this headquarters. I'm going to sacrifice my headquarters to maintain close contact with the enemy while the other units are going to try to retreat. Here we go. The mayhem continues. Yeah, my headquarters keep firing and firing and giving itself. Oh, motorized rifle troops coming in right behind them. Not so good, not so good. Uh-oh, he's making his move. Here he comes. Maybe I shouldn't have pulled out. That might have been a poor decision on my part. But we do fire in and get one of his motorized rifle controls. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Bad decision. And now we have to defend along the river all alone. Oh well, we all make mistakes.
Execute orders, men. 6 minutes. I've got about 2 more order sets to give. Well, the big thing that does is that reduces my ability to fire my artillery since we don't have the fire coordination cell thing working. Which means my artillery just... come on, guys. Oh, why did I abandon 2,000 point X? That's not good. Way to pay attention. 2 minutes for him. He'll be able to react before I can put at least my headquarters or something. Although again, like I've been pounding those guys, they might not have ammunition, and my readiness might be pretty low. Ooh, yeah. Love it. It shows 3 units there. I hit 2 and it goes to 4. Pound them, boys. So I think that would be battalion headquarters there. Which means he ain't got a lot there. Yeah, 577, which is an M113 variant. And you know, I saw a guy there for a minute or 2, then disappeared. So I sent a couple of my artillery missions there, but most of them are this guy in the headquarters, and then hitting the battalion headquarters right. Oh, minefield! Come on, guys. So he's probably got a couple of dragons there. His infantry. Oh, and I started a bridge order there. Execute orders, men. 6 minutes. I've got about 2 more order sets to give. Well, the big thing that does is that reduces my ability to fire my artillery since we don't have the my artillery just... come on, guys. Oh, why did I abandon the 2020? X, that's not good. Way to pay attention. 2 minutes for Admiral. He'll be able to react before I can put at least my headquarters there. Although again, like I've been pounding those guys, they might not have ammunition and my readiness might be pretty low. Ooh, yeah. Love it. It shows 3 units there. I hit 2 and it goes to 4. Pound them, boys. So I think that would be battalion headquarters there. Which means he ain't got a lot there. Yeah, 577, which is an M113 variant. And you know, I saw a guy there for a minute or 2, then disappeared. So I sent a couple of my artillery missions there, but most of them are this guy in the headquarters, and then hitting the battalion headquarters right across there. Oh, minefield! Come on, guys. So we probably got a couple of dragons there. It's infantry. Oh, and I started a bridge order there.
The enemy advances and opens fire on my headquarters unit. Lots of missiles flying through the air. But I'm firing back, and we get one mechanized infantry squad. The enemy tanks fire, destroy one of my Bradleys, and then advance upon the same bridge crossing. The off-board artillery fires and hits my mechanized infantry, destroying several. 2. As well as my headquarters. What's coming down the road here? Another armored personnel carrier, looks like an air defense unit. He drops artillery on my headquarters as well and destroys a command vehicle. In addition, he anticipates or thought he saw a unit here and drops artillery into the open space. We drop our artillery onto the enemy, kill 1 mechanized infantry unit. The enemy is really compressing the battle space quite very well. He's advancing down here with his anti-tank section, and he just murdered 2 more of my Bradleys, trying to block the way. My tanks are almost ready. I'm going to need another turn cycle to finish, but I'm going to have to pull this infantry out. Doesn't matter if he's coming down this way. Unfortunately, we know there's a minefield here, so we have to run into the open field right when he's got an anti-tank section coming down the road. That's going to be hell. But we got to get him in here because this is the major threat. My other units have already run out of ammo, but we're still holding them and pinning them in place along with my headquarters unit. So this was a mistake on my part. I pulled them out. Now I've got to put them back in. And I tried to seal up this potential bridgehead. Now, my other unit here, he's very low on ammo. I could have tried to move him south to block, but with only 16% ammo, I don't think there's a chance. Now, all I can do is hope that the enemy doesn't pull a headless chicken dance on me and make me run around for nothing. He's out of sight of everything, so the enemy can't employ his combat binoculars by chasing me away and make me run around. So that's what I'm hoping for. Either way, he's worthless. He's ineffective as a unit, so I may as well try to drop him into resupply. Drops more artillery onto my headquarters. It's tying up their unit, tying up his artillery, and he drops it onto my mechanized infantry, destroying another mechanized infantry squad. My headquarters also gets the battery, and the other headquarters, my headquarters, personal headquarters, that's me right there. We lose another command vehicle, but he's also dropping it into the dead space, which is why I'm timing my advance so that the Bradleys will advance just at the end of the turn. We do manage to kill another tank in close quarters combat, and now that we're trying to run, he's just killed another command vehicle. We fire back and get a SAM squad. Not good. Weather's improved. The enemy can see us. The tanks move forward and hold position. If he comes through, this is where we're going to try to make him pay. He hits my headquarters again and again. I'm below 40%. More artillery falls on my mechanized infantry survivors. And the artillery falls again on my headquarters, destroying another unit. We're wiped out. I'm destroyed. Now that I'm destroyed, we have no control over my units. See? I'll get one. I don't know if I'll have another command cycle here before I run out. We're into the last hour. The Bradleys move into the open field and are easy targets for the enemy. We finally destroy the headquarters squad. No, one infantry squad, and the enemy advances onto my mechanized infantry platoon. The tanks, of course, they start running, and they run the wrong direction. Right up into the open. And we didn't even get a... My enemy did a really good job. He moved in here, and because he moved in here... I'm going to pause, just to show how stupid this was. Because the enemy moved in here, he caused my tank... He was too close to the tank on the opposite side of the river. Could not chase after him, but because he has anti-tank weapons here, he causes my tank to lose an entire resupply cycle. So we do a headless chicken dance because he's on the other side of the river. And instead of running, here's a city hex which offers some protection. We run not away from him, we run right into the open field. No change in distance. We just expose ourselves to more vulnerability and back into low ammo. How is that an intelligent AI function? Idiocy. Yes, this, and in 2.08, this would not have happened. In 2.08, I would have just sat there and finished my resupply because he was shooting at me, but he wasn't any major threat to me. This is a 2.10 problem. So now those tanks, they're pretty much out for the rest of the game, even if they survive. Even if they survive, which I doubt. The infantry moves forward, and we block the passage. Well, my opponent was very aggressive. Well done on his part by forcing the anti-tank unit forward, and now he's probably going to destroy. Let's see how many. Yeah, 400 points worth of tanks for absolutely nothing, because my AI was an idiot, and I had to go along with it. My infantry is now in position. We're blocking. Hopefully we can hold him up for 48 minutes is what we need. But the command cycles have really extended now to 23 minutes. This is my second to last command cycle because I won't be able to get another one afterwards. That makes any difference. I've got my last headquarters here, hoping all he can do is soak up some of the enemy fire as it comes through. I've got another headquarters here waiting to fire if he comes down the road. The enemy fires, destroys one of my mechanized infantry squads.
Dobry den, toleration. See, we're down to an hour of the battle left. Let's see if I can get something happening. I'm afraid I'm not. But it's gonna be just a little too late. But what the heck, we give it a shot. There we go. I like the S on his. I think that's his battalion headquarters, right? He's got M577s. Boom. Okay, I thought I saw something. I'm building a bridge there. I wonder if I'm gonna be able to get 30 minutes to the bridge. I swear I don't want to lose my bleeding remnants in my army. There we go. Ouch. And that's what I screwed up. I remember when I played the last turn. I left that 2,000 point victory hex open, and he's got a quicker command time than I do, so he may be able to seize it. Every time a guy blows up, this number goes up. I'm taking on the Bradleys, so that's just good stuff. And 2 M577s, which are not combat vehicles. They're M113 set up for a command post. So you got a lieutenant colonel, a bunch of majors running around, and a bunch of captains running around on maps. Grease penciling it. You got your comms guys talking, figuring out what's going on. It looks like they're all gone now, so get that bridge built. if he moves there, though, I've got enough firepower there. If he's, you know, oh, that was a trap. That's what I was setting for him, right? That's my story. Moved all my guys back, so he'll move, and when he's moving, he's more exposed. Oh, here's his armor, trying to flame me up there. Banzai! That wasn't good for him. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to pound through here. Oh, there's that guy that I'd seen earlier. And that's where I was trying to build my bridge. Come on, take him out. Take out some guys. It's too late in the battle to get excited about one explosion there. Orders given and execute. Basically called in a bunch of artillery barrages on all his high priority targets, which I see as this mech platoon, this tank platoon, this anti-tank section, and what's left of it. Oh yeah, there's. Oh. Come on, let's get this artillery firing. Oh, why did he move there? Here we go. Let's see some secondary. Let's take out some M1s. He's out in the open. He's been moving. They should be vulnerable. These guys less vulnerable, although they did move there recently. So, and I wish that had happened a little bit earlier. That was some mines to hopefully slow up and maybe hold that 2,000 point victory spot, which I've kind of you know, in my desperation to grab the 5,000, I'm giving up the 2,000. Calling in my big gun. Well, these are my medium guns. In the open. Let's see some secondaries. Boom! Nope. And he is hitting. Yeah, the dragon guys. Nope. Nope. There we go. There we go. Took out the Bradley too. And the mortars in the town aren't going to do much, but I got everything else firing too. There we go. Ouch. And there's the charge of the lone BTR down the highway. Those guys are in trouble there. Yep. Ah, and now the armor's moved. And this is the one battle, the tyranny of time. I think if I had one more hour, I would be able to break through. But alas, higher headquarters is given different constraints. And shooting where he was, not where he is. Whoa, that's me. I'm glad I didn't shoot well that time. I think he's gonna hit the same spot. Nope, I got him hit. This guy's there. Oh, got my mortars on my own guys. Yep, and more contact. As we suspected. Don't have any combat power coming from the north to do anything. More minutes. 36 remain, so yeah. Looks like I get one more orders that'll matter. Looks like the bridge got built. Yeah, it looks like it right there. Now you just gotta run across it. And where's he shooting? He's shooting. Yep, there. What what he's got left there. How many Bradleys I've taken out versus... He's got 3 Bradleys, 2 rifle squads, and the Dragon. Oh. Visibility down to 2,000 meters. I don't think it matters at this point. Oh, come on, he moved away! So he's cleared the minefield, so he should be moving again soon. And we are across the river, and we're gonna die. It's like being in the jungle, right? Yep. Yep. All these self-targets in the rear, but I'm not gonna be able to do anything with them. And he's re-seized the 2,000 point spot. Alright.
The enemy continues to try to force a crossing. Looks like his motorized rifle company is going to be destroyed this turn, as he tries to flee to the north. I don't know if it's a deliberate move or accidental, but it looks like my mechanized infantry platoon survivors will also be destroyed this turn. The artillery drops on my tanks that have moved into the open field. Remember, the AI chose the absolute dumbest and most vulnerable place to put them, up in the field so that the enemy could destroy me with artillery. The artillery catches my mechanized infantry platoon that's trying to resupply, as well as the advancing mechanized infantry platoon, as he destroys a grenade launching squad from the opposite side of the river as he tries to pound us. He pounds the mechanized infantry survivor and destroys the Bradley. We have one more in the way. It will be destroyed this turn, and it's wiped out. More artillery lands on my mechanized infantry, destroying the heavy machine gun squad, but my headquarters gets into the fight and destroys an armored personnel carrier and the anti-tank squad with it. They continue to blast him as he's in exposed posture trying to force a crossing. We destroy one of his armored personnel carriers and dismount him, so he's forced to march onwards. The tanks run again, but they're still considered in hasty move, and they're still running who knows where they're going. Because the enemy has his combat binoculars on us. Simply by seeing us, he's actually able to force us to run. That's how stupid this game is. The combat binoculars, we run because we are seen. His infantry continues to march onward. And the artillery now falls ineffective. More artillery falls on my mechanized infantry squad, platoon. Thought we'd get the tanks back, but because they're running around headless chickens, they can't conduct resupply, and they won't ever stop. So the game will be over before I ever get them back. They may as well be destroyed because it's pointless. The weather turns sour again, and we continue to kill his mechanized infantry motorized rifle squad. The real question is, I think I've stopped him from getting across the river here. I think I'll move my tanks northward to try to block this or protect this victory point location. All we have is a couple of unarmed head. Oh, he's across the river. He's overrunning, and the tanks get into it and blast him. My mistake. But we've got another mechanized infantry platoon survivor here, and a tank platoon blast him away. But his anti-tank section comes on. He's hoping that he'd waste time trying to destroy the headquarters unit, but looks like he's not going to bother. I think we've done a duty slowing him down. He's got a bridge across the river in the south, but he has to overrun 2 units in order to get to these victory point locations. So I think that we can stop. We've got him effectively stopped here. My tank, look how stupid that is. He thinks that the best place to run is right across a river to the other side. Yep, that's another lousy AI decision replacing good player decisions. I think I'll just drop him in. Well, who knows what he can do. He's running. I'll try to run him in the other direction. So we've changed his waypoint. Now in the south, we got our units here holding him. I hope that he's going to waste a lot of ammunition trying to blast these through. I think we've got him stopped. I've called the artillery. It's back in. I'm going to try to kill this infantry unit. Now, no, the tanks are here. There are 5 tanks here and some more infantry, but I think that this is the most lethal just because it's closest to the victory point locations. And these ones, so even though these, I would rather drop it on the tanks and get more victory points, these are trying to capture my victory point locations. So that's where we're heading. We continue to pound fire into them with no effect. We're still holding up the enemy with our bodies in the northeast of the city.
About 2 minutes of execution here, and then I'll get some orders. His armor's moving away. That's kind of good. Again, probably too little, too late. And here it goes. Pretty much the end of the battle. Minus a couple minutes. Oh, they lost another 14. And here comes the charge of my 50%, 40% strength armor company. And there's kind of probably a bit of a flaw in the game. You order assault orders, but you delay it by 20 minutes. But so the guy loses his hold. Right here, my headquarters. I ordered him to assault there, but I delayed it so that it would be right at the last second. But he still becomes exposed and loses his defensive bonuses for being in hold for that. Other little things with the game that could be tweaked to make made better. And 2 of my 152mm units this turn are reloading, so it's kind of bad luck for that. But I've been firing them full speed, maximum neutralizing fire the whole time, so that's to be expected. And I can monitor their ammo rate, and I kept them firing, so. Not too bad. I'm going to be doing that the rest of the turn. Wonder if it'll be enough. I'm plinking away with my mortars on his headquarters unit. I wonder where his armor unit disappeared to. And here comes the charge of the tank. It's teasing me. It's just going to be close enough to give me a little bit of excitement. I think it might happen, but it's not going to happen. More 37-27. Yep, hitting that guy again. Looks like I've knocked out all his Bradleys there. He's just got 4 squads there. Keep my armor moving, don't want them to get hit in here. There we go. Oh, there's his last 2 tanks, and he's waiting for me. I'm gonna continue fighting. Usually we kind of discuss beforehand, and the default, though, if we're gonna end it, then the default has been we play it out. Come on. Oh. Is he gonna start this move? every little point might help. Ouch. There goes headquarters unit. Come on. No. Oh, come on. Close range. 500 meters. I suppose we got some M1s. Ooh, now we got visibility. This doesn't matter when we got a knife fight going on in the town. There we go. Come on. All this fighting is coming down to some armor in the middle of the town, a handful of tired, worn out infantry squads with their BTRs and their Bradleys and their Dragons. Ouch. Oh no! That might do. I'm gonna look at that. 2 or 3 minutes left in the battle. Oh, and let's finish this baby up. I want my armor to survive. That's the only thing that might give me a chance to hold on to that 2,000 point hex there. And do not forget to send your PBM opponent the final file. And drumroll for my loss. Marginal loss. I'm sure we'll do an AR, but I will send this off to my valiant opponent.
The enemy continues to try to fight his way forward. We drop the final artillery onto his nothing. Squad moving in the open, and we don't get anything. We kill a utility vehicle from his headquarters group. And a second. Headquarters squad is... Here comes a surviving company of tanks trying to push past my headquarters and on both sides. 3 sides. We kill an armored personnel carrier. Off-map artillery is shooting out, dropping on my infantry. We moved up, and we lose a Bradley. He drops it on top of my headquarters as well. He keeps pounding the infantry. I think this is an... Well, no, he's trying to wipe us off the victory point location and capture it for himself. So he's not doing too badly. Not quite the wrong... I don't think it's the wrong thing to do. If he can wipe it out, he can claim the victory point location and the 2,000 victory points underneath. So he just wiped out a dragon and a mechanized infantry squad. My headquarters gets hit hard with artillery as well. Tanks coming through blast him with their main guns. We lose an armored personnel carrier. Our second artillery barrage goes in. No luck. He keeps bringing the artillery, bringing the music. Doing well. But he has to count this one, and this one are also counted within the zone of influence. So, as long as he doesn't wipe them all out, I should be able to retain control, or hopefully retain control. He drops artillery onto my headquarters, keeps hammering it, trying to push past us, destroying the armored personnel carrier. And more falls on the 2 surviving. Looks like there's 2 infantry squads remaining here. The animations are just so slow in this game, and it's just gotten worse with version 10. My final artillery barrage manages to catch both, and he overruns right onto the headquarters, but now the tanks take him under fire and blast one right away. He brings the artillery onto himself. Will we get... Maybe he'll destroy it? No. With a little luck, we could have destroyed it. He would have destroyed his own. But no, no luck our way. Only 2 survivors. He could theoretically wipe them out. headquarters section takes another loss. Another headquarters squad destroyed. We get one of his headquarters units and wipe it out. We're in close quarters. He's in motion. He's still trying to move southeasterly. So he's got that little red triangle here. He's in motion and therefore more exposed. We wipe out 2 more tanks. The weather's cleared. Doesn't help. Doesn't mean much. He fires back and kills an Abram. We've got support in. We've got infantry in close. Maybe we'll be able to kill that last... No, there's no S symbol there, so the tank does not get destroyed. The artillery takes over and fires off into the wild blue yonder. Probably a headquarters unit, maybe an artillery unit out here. But pretty much irrelevant since he's got tanks coming down our throat. Lots of fireballs though. At least it's a successful mission. Looks like my tanks are they resupplied? Or are they just sitting there on screen? I suspect they're sitting there on screen. That's probably yet another version 10 bug. This is, I suspect they're off on, they've retreated from this hex, and they're sitting there, now they drop into resupply. Now they drop into resupply. Not that it makes much difference since the game's only 2 minutes remaining on the game. The game's over! We'll see that we have a marginal success, 71%, just barely survived. We'll see that we retain control on all 3 locations, but the enemy has inflicted such heavy losses upon us that we are only able to achieve a marginal success. It's nice to see that we have, the enemy still has quite a bit of artillery. His mortars, these are fairly heavy mortars, 100, ooh, well, no, there's only 2 9s, that's a light mortar. It's a light mortar. But he's still got plenty of them, and his heavy guns out here. Amazing that he's still got so many air defense squads. Through the city, we have managed to hold, well, it says that we've held. I don't know if this may be another bug. See, according to the victory point location, each of these victory points is supposed to be retained control. However, it only shows it. I only have credit for 2,000. So if the additional 2,000 had actually been properly transferred to my side, I would be at an 81% rating. That would mean a tactical success. But it's just another one of those version 10 bugs. It's been here since version 9. Actually, it's been here since version 8, and well, the developers can't be bothered to fix it. So at least we know about it. We can see it. My enemy has fought well. He pressed me all the way through. We fought right down to the end, right down to the last minute, right down to the last bullet. That's the best kind of game. This concludes Spartans at Norderfurt with FlashPoint Germany Reforged. I'm here with TC. This is the final game review. Hi, TC.
Howdy, how you doing, Herman?
Just fine, thanks. That was a pretty good battle there, right down to the wire.
Yes, it was. Yeah, and one of the things I messed up is I gave up that 2,000 point victory hex because I really wanted to get across the river, which I should have probably just not even tried to do in the south. Right there, yep.
If you don't try it, how can you know you'll get over to the 5,000?
Yeah. Yeah, Yeah, but I should have at least left one unit on that hex because you were able to move that armored company in. I'm sorry, a mechanized infantry company right in on it.
Well, one of the things you may not realize is how the victory point calculations control is calculated at the end of the turn, at the end of the game. At the end of the game, I believe that the default range is they take a look at all the units within one
Okay.
of the victory point location, and they
Okay.
count this one, and this one, and then they do the. I'll show my value for it. They do this evaluation here, and this is victory point location 3727. They'll count all these. I have 3 units here, and they'll count 8 subunits, and I don't know how this value is arrived, but they counted yours, and yours is only 149 because you're a little. But it's always I believe a range of 1 for the end of the game.
Okay.
In the middle of a game, sometimes this range can be 12, 9, 4. What I don't know how they calculate that either, but
Yeah.
at the end of the game, I believe it's always a value of 1. It's always been my experience when we see these things. So just so you can give an idea of, here's your 2 units and how far they are, even though it's a big tank unit. So I don't know how much a squad of infantry is valued in relation to a tank. So it's
Right.
one around. It's one of the reasons why here's on the other side of the river. I allowed you to overrun my unit, overrun my final victory point location. I let you run onto it. I wasn't going to try to put a unit to block because I knew at the end it was going to count the units 1 hex around. And I pointed this out as a bug. Notice this, it says that you have control of this 2,000 point victory location. However, if we remember here, it says I get control of all 3 of them, supposedly, at the end of the game.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And the victory and the summaries, you are given credit for it, even though it says I'm supposed to have it. So I don't know what's wrong, which is wrong. It says I'm supposed to have it, but then it just gives it to you and it doesn't recalculate it. So
Right.
I believe it is an error on the awarding. I think that should have been my 2,000 at the end of the game, which would have, in my review, I mentioned that would have put me at it's a contested battle, a marginal. I think I would have had a tactical at that point at 81%. But sorry, go ahead. Why don't you do your review for the final part of the game?
Oh yeah, and if you also look down there though, I had got the mech, rifle company across the river there, where had I kept him farther back, I might have exerted control on that one in the south. So, oh no, he didn't. So that was my armor. Okay, I kind of missed what happened there at the end. Okay, so when I looked at this model, all my units were lined up at the north. 3, basically 3 battalions, mostly motor mechanized rifle, and then each had 1 armor company with them, and then of course all the other ash and trash that the Soviet units have. They have their BRDM AT4 units and their SA-14s and all that other stuff that kind of, in the game, and basically stuff kind of wastes orders if you try to keep them all together. But you can't spread your units out too much, or your command delay goes down. So I sent one. The first one, just north of that river there was my setup area. So my first concern was getting across the river in the open field. So I had a huge rush, had 1 whole battalion coming down those 2 roads to get my foothold on the town.
Yeah, you did that very well.
Yeah.
Yet pissed me off. You'll hear that in my video that you got here and you managed to cross enough territory here. Where exactly did you start?
I think it started right on the river, if I recall.
Oh, okay, so not too bad. I couldn't get up here, even 3 or 4 hexes. I couldn't get here before you did, and you got in here and you just slaughtered me.
Yeah.
My advancing unit. So yes, so your first battalion was coming down here. Yeah.
Yeah. The second one started up at that hill where the 1 headquarters is.
Okay.
I think that was pretty much the western edge of my setup area. So I put 1 battalion there, and they were going to head over and then head down around the hill, and then head down the A84 to see if they could come through that gap in the mountains.
All right.
That was that was kind of obvious. You saw that. Then I kept the third one up north, also up in Older up there, and that was my reserve battalion that I was going to figure out. Hey, if you're committed too far to the north, he's going to swing and follow the first one down the A84 and maybe even go farther south and over that bottom hill.
So the old 2 up, 1 back
exactly
formation to see what probing
right.
for it. Okay.
I had to figure out where you were, and I was going to, or if for some reason things went well in the north part of your town there, he was going to commit following the very first one that crossed the river there.
Okay.
About halfway through the battle, I realized I was running out of time, and there was no way in the world. It was a 7-hour battle, and I'm used to 10 and 12-hour battles. Right. There was no way in the world I had time to send him the looping flanking maneuver. And since I had already knocked out your first line of troops in the north part of the town, I went ahead and fed them south into the town. I had wanted to send them wide, but then your mines really slowed me down and messed me up and ate up.
Not mines. Let's say 1 mine. Exactly 1 minefield is all I had. Okay. To deploy. I tried to get more than that. They only gave me 1.
Yeah. No. I was thinking of the ones over in the town.
Oh, here. Oh, yes.
Yeah. Those are so my first battalion hit those, and that pretty much ended them. So the one that I had looped around, I saw you drop that one there, so I was able to go across it. And actually, to talk back around to my flanking battalion, your scouts on the hill at first scared me, and then the artillery fire put a pretty good hurting on them.
Right here.
And at one point, I had figured that's a lost battalion, and they're going to not contribute anything to the battle. And so I kind of paused, and they just sat there. And then I realized, hey, I can get them, and I built that bridge to get them on the south side of the river, and then looped them over the hill and made that last dash into the town.
Well, I'm glad the minefield did its purpose. It served its purpose. It delayed you 30 minutes here even though I was hoping you'd run onto it, but even though you didn't run onto it, you saw it and then you remembered it and avoided it. I was trying to get you to come up across here so I could open up on you from close range with anti-tank guided missile fire. I took out your anti-tank teams. That was well done, I thought, where you were sending them forward to conduct reconnaissance. They're cheap little units. And you used them up to suck down my fire, so I hated you for it. You'll see what happened, how I tried to avoid them, and I'm glad I managed to take them out because had they survived, I took them out the second they showed up. But had they survived, they would have caused a lot of more trouble than they did.
And where the huge problem they have a 2,000 meter range.
Yes.
And all of the cover up there is 2,500 meters or more from you. There was absolutely nowhere I could put them in cover and hit your town.
But you don't need it. You got a pair of binoculars on those things.
Well, no, that's true.
As long as they can survive, they can call in the Arty, and that's what smashed so many of my forces. Your Arty just kept eating it up. You had so much Arty. But we were talking about that earlier. So that was your overall, and you'd managed to salvage the situation and come in through the south, and that was well done. I thought there was a killing zone here,
right?
That I managed to exact a toll from you, but the rest you have. The proof is in the pudding. You got through, and you just went a little too far, maybe. You're right.
I should have stopped and settled for the 2,000 there. And
well, you made me. You'll see later in my video. I had to deploy all the way down to the south just because I don't know if you're going to come around the south or not. So I had to keep units. You tied up this unit, pretty much kept her mostly ineffective simply because I had to put her down south. When I saw you coming through here, you could have gone the easy way. I don't know if you were going to come the long way. But you stretched me out just by being there. So that was, I thought, again, well done. And I said that in my video. And you're driving on the south. You forced me to pull back units that I didn't want to, that I thought I could use up here. What else was there? Oh, we were talking about the number of orders you had. How many orders? You said you started off with about 14 orders?
If I recall correctly, I might have started off with 21 or so. But the last half of the battle, at least after I'd taken some losses, it was and spread my units out, and I don't remember what all affected.
Final is 9.
Okay, it was 13 for the last, roughly 13 for the last half of the battle.
Oh, okay, average of 13, but right at the end of the battle, you only had 9.
Yeah.
Okay, well, because you have, and you were saying you had how many? You have 9 artillery battery or artillery units.
Yeah.
So if you have, because we're playing under limited orders function, which is what we have turned off. We don't have unlimited orders. Had you wanted to fire all your artillery, that would have sucked up 9 of your orders already, and that's the entire order. That's it.
Right.
You can't move anything.
Yes.
And
that was the problem with leaving. In hindsight, leaving my 1 battalion in reserve and waiting. You get unlimited orders at the beginning of the battle. At the setup time, so I had them all sitting there, and these battalions are, you got the 3 companies plus the tank company, and then you have your mortars and your SA-14s. I mean, it's like 9 units to move a battalion.
Yeah. Is that why you left all your air defense behind? Because you didn't have enough orders to move those things?
Yeah. I didn't have orders for that stuff. So the fact was that I was moving the battalion up took, I think it was about 3 turns of me giving orders to give them. So that's at 23, 26 minutes. That's over an hour and 15 minutes for me to just give them all orders to head south. And so they weren't able to hit at the same time, even though I tried to do some delay orders so that they would hit at roughly the same time. It was
Okay, well, that's an interesting point. So let's just say if at the end of the game, if you just wanted to fire artillery, you would have theoretically used up all of them and done no movement or anything else because of that. Right. But I've complained, I've criticized quite heavily in this video of the mandatory fire support control center. We've turned it off, or we tried to turn it off when we started up the scenario. But as you noticed, the AI just fires the artillery at whatever it damn well pleases.
Yeah.
So by forcing players to have this mandatory fire support control center, it gives you, let's say, it frees up your artillery. You don't have to give your artillery any missions. It'll fire anyway if you just let it sit there. Whether it's on battery or whether it's on call or counter battery, the AI will fire. You get free missions. That means you get the other 9 or whatever to move your units. So in my opinion, this mandatory fire support is a real crock, simply because it makes it a lot easier, and it's not something we wanted. When you're playing, you notice how you as you said, it's so hard getting all your units. Now you just got a bonus for getting more units in, when you should have been penalized and said, well, you can't even get your 3rd battalion in because you ran out of orders. And that's the way it should be in a tough game. Not to say this is real life. The developers are very specific about what is and isn't realism. And limited orders is not meant to be a realistic thing. It's meant to be a difficulty thing. So it certainly made your life a lot easier, even though I didn't have to worry about it so much because I had no artillery, or I only had 1 artillery battery and 1 that you wiped out.
Yeah.
So I was really impressed when you were. Okay, now my side of it, when you were coming around the outside, I was so glad that you hit this one, and my concern was I was hoping that you wouldn't know just how far out the minefield was, and that you'd give up trying to flank me on the east side here.
And my original plan with that battalion, those last battalion coming ahead, for them to go wide, and I didn't, and I can't remember exactly why it was. I think it was because I just had to feed them in kind of piecemeal into the fighting. Because it always happens. You just can't, in the urban terrain especially, you can't wipe out that last couple units, and that had my 1st battalion just pinned down. And so I kind of had to send them in because the 1st battalion was out of ammo. They were all on resupply status, and they're just not even shooting, even though they're in the same hex. I think you had 1 scout in the hex with my 5 or 6 tanks for 2 or 3 turns. And
right here, yeah. Yes, and you couldn't get a decent ammo reload because you were in close proximity all the time. So all I had to do was survive, and you couldn't get enough ammo to kill me, in that sense.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, it was right up here. I put it right up here, and I was watching you, and we were just duking it out. You would get some ammo, fire. You would get maybe 20% ammo. Is that right? About 20%?
Yeah, we get 20%, and they would shoot. They would barely ever shoot, and then they would still be on resupply the next turn. And
they would drop right back into resupply after shooting once, I think it came down to. So that worked out well. But I thought you did very well here you were using your infantry to pin my units and then blast the hell out of them with artillery.
Absolutely.
I couldn't. What's that term you guys the army uses? I could not extract myself
Yes. Yeah.
from the conflict, and you kept pressing. I thought that was what I was really annoyed at you for doing that. You kept pushing the damn fragments head, and
Yeah.
they kept me pinned, or at least they kept me in contact. So I have to commend you. That was well done on this side. And you tried to ram yourself down this eastern corridor, and I'm sure glad I left a unit there to tie you up.
Mm-hmm.
You got so close, and I gotta say, had you come in a little earlier, I think you might have. What would you have done differently? Your third battalion, you think you would have committed earlier?
Yeah, I would have actually probably would have maybe even been. They would have followed the first battalion immediately. So as soon as the first battalion hit anything, the second one could keep rolling, knock out your first one. That would give the first battalion the time to then resupply and refit, or resupply while the second battalion was carrying on the battle forward.
Okay.
But as it was, I was never able to really get everything working together. Once I rolled through your first line and hit your second line,
Yeah.
I was never able to get a lot of firepower mass down there. It was, all my effective fire was the artillery fire. My units were all resupplying the whole time, and their readiness was too low. So.
Okay. No, I thought your artillery was really well. I'm just glad sometimes you stacked up. I was very lucky to take out a combined mechanized
And
an
armor.
armored battalion or company right here. It just dropped the ICM, and then I ran out of that ICM ammunition.
Yeah, I was quite glad you did too.
Oh, it was glorious while it lasted.
Uh-huh.
How was your off-board artillery? Did you take any losses?
I think I took a couple. I don't remember. I took some on the No, I don't think I took any off. Once or twice they told me they were displacing off map.
Let's see.
But I do not think I lost any off.
You did lose a couple. One
Okay.
here, a couple of transports, and a couple of the howitzers. These
Well,
not.
I think that's the on map there.
Oh,
The
pardon me.
122 millimeter, the 152 millimeter were the one off map.
Right. No, you didn't lose anything.
Yeah.
You didn't lose any of those because these units have the quick scoot capability.
Right.
So they fired and they managed to escape, and I wasted a lot of artillery on that.
Mm-hmm.
But did you notice that your counter battery off map doesn't cost you any ammo?
Right.
And even if your artillery off map is in resupply, you can still fire counter battery.
Uh-huh.
So just these, I've reported both of those in this video and pointed them out. Just something you can just be aware of. And off map counter battery is instantaneous. Not 1 minute, not 30 minutes, not 5 minutes, instantaneous. If you fire at 2100, you get return fire at 2100.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of ridiculous. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, any final comments?
No, you did a good job. You had the guys in the right spots. I mean, the scouts on the hill to the southwest were well placed, and you had that good line of mines, and then the northwest part of your town. You had units up there that were able to range both my guys coming in from the north and the guys coming in from the west. So those were guys that yeah. And I was a little late reacting to them. But as you see, I put the 2 minefields down to try to keep your guys from redeploying back into the town as I flanked you to the south. But it was obviously too late.
Well, there was one here. I had to one unit was here. I had to move it out into the open here.
Uh-huh.
I had to avoid the minefield. I had to move it into the open with your anti-tank unit coming down the road here. So I exposed myself because of your damn minefield. But I managed. I did get through here without taking any losses. So I'm grateful. There are no crosses here. But you did give me some angst at that time because I knew there was a minefield. I didn't want to be tied up here for 30 minutes. So again, bravo, well done.
Thanks, you too.
Okay, well, I thank you for the battle. This concludes Spartans at Norderfurt with FlashPoint Campaigns Germany Reforged.